Come one, come all. Welcome, lords and ladies, to day 2 of the Knights of the Fixed Ops Roundtable event. Here to encourage us to make history is our host, Vanessa Collins.
Good morning. I'm Vanessa Collins from Northwood University. Become a true believer of the hours by joining the Knights of the Fixed Ops Roundtable for day 2 of our event. Begin your hero's journey with us as we bring fantasy to fixed ops. Will you be the chosen one to lift the sword from the stone? The only way to find out is to join us now as we start the show. Join the discussion at the roundtable by using the chat feature on the right side of your screen. Just remember to select everyone and not just hosts and panelists. Hear ye, hear ye. We're opening our day with our first speaker, Bill Demaree from the Tomwood Automotive Group.
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. It's a great honor to welcome back a good friend of the industry, Bill Demaree. Bill is the corporate director of fixed operations at the Tomwood Automotive Group. Great friend of the industry. Bill, welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Ted, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to being a part of it again this year. I always look forward to spending time with Ted.
You know, it's hard to believe that here we are in January, our 23rd Fixed Ops Roundtable. That alone is hard enough to believe, but that you and I have not done, you've been on panels, but we haven't done a one-on-one like this ever before.
Yeah, I agree with you. And with your schedule, my schedule, it just hasn't worked out. And I was excited to get the call to see if we could spend some time and just chat.
I'm excited and honored as well. So again, thank you for being here. Want to talk to you a little bit today about the industry. Want to talk to you about Tomwood Automotive Group. I want to talk to you about Bill Demaree. And there was a quote that I saw that came from Tomwood himself. And it said that success is not measured by the number of franchises or locations an organization has. It is measured by the people associated with it. Bill, how do you feel about that saying, and how can you relate to that?
You know, I think it aligns with our core values as a company. Tom had a vision of growing a great big family. And that's really what he grew when he started in 1967. And, you know, we really work hard on the folk that we hire and bring on as part of our team. And, you know, they have to meet our core values. And if they do, they've just become part of a great family. And we push hard for work-life balance through this organization. And it's very important to us. And flexible schedules and 410s and, you know, anything we can do to gratify our employees and keep them satisfied, because with happy employees comes happy customers.
And Bill, you do think out of the box on some of the things you just mentioned, those work hours, the culture of the dealership. Bill, 10 years, 15 years ago, we never even heard about that topic at a dealership. And now, it's become the relevant buzzword. But Bill, you've been doing that all along.
I have, and our group has, and we send surveys out. Sometimes I'll ask a store, hey, how many individuals are interested in 410s? And sometimes they'll go, hey, we've talked to them and nobody really does. So we'll just send a survey. We send it right to the employee, and we get the real answer that maybe they are interested in 410s. Maybe they're interested in long weekends. And again, anything that we can do to soften the, I've been in this business 37 years, and Ted, I promise I never had 410s. I think I had 7 12s. So, my son, I listen to him, and he says, Dad, nobody's going to work the hours that you did growing up. And what do you mean 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 4 jobs? Are you kidding me? I have 1. Why do I need more? So, it's changed. The industry's changed, and we have to change with that, or we're not going to have people that want to work in our industry. It's a great industry, and so we just have to be on the edge.
So let's talk about that. Let's go back that 37 years, Bill. How'd you get into the industry? How did you get started, and how'd you get here today?
It's fun. My father was an instructor at an automotive college, so he would bring lessons home for us to work on in the driveway, which, later in life I learned was side work on him. And my brother and I would do brakes and work on engines and do all this stuff. I was never a fan of really busting my knuckles and getting after it, but I did, and we did it. And then my first job was at a service station. And I'm telling you, Ted, that was one of the greatest experiences of customer service when you're 16 years old, pumping gas at a service station and serving the customer, cleaning the windshield, checking the oil, making sure the tire pressure is up, and you become friends, with the people who come in. And the owner of the service station came to me one day, said, Bill, the customers love you. And, here, I've got an idea. They have this new thing called synthetic oil. And what the synthetic oil does is it makes it last longer in the car. It's a little more expensive. And I'm going to offer you a spiff if you can sell synthetic oils on the fast lane service station. So I became a service advisor a long time ago, and I started selling the crap out of synthetic oils. And then I convinced him, hey, let me change the oil, bring it in and teach me how to do the oil changes and stuff in the shop. So I got my hands dirty really young, and service station, and I came into the dealership world a couple years after that. I've never looked back.
Bill, young people today probably couldn't believe that service stations used to do things like actually, check the air in the tires, clean the windshield, do all those things that you're speaking about. And I remember that.
Yeah, I wish it would come back. I was traveling somewhere. I don't remember where I was at, and I started to get out, and the guy come running up to me and said, no, and they pumped my gas for me. I was like, wow, it was a different country. I think Honduras. So I was on a cruise, but I thought it was interesting. I thought, that's what we need to bring back, some of that stuff. And in the automotive side and the dealership side, we can do pickup and deliveries. We can, go after the cars, go mobile service. So I think there's a trend of that's here. And those of us that got to experience it understand the importance, of doing those things and serving the customer.
Convenience is working its way into the landscape. It has been for some time. Other industries are doing it. Some of the biggest companies in the world are focused on convenience. And the automotive industry now has picked up on that. And, while we've always, focused on price as an example, now we're looking at, not everybody wants to come into a dealership to get their oil changed or to get their vehicle worked on. And they like the convenience and some of the things that you at Tom Wood are embracing, as well as others in the industry.
Yeah, convenience, I think, is everything. I personally have a hard time bringing my own vehicles into the stores and getting service. My wife will yell at me. It's like, I need an oil change. I'm like, well, let's get an appointment. But now I dispatch my spiffy to my house, and they change her oil and they clean my cars for me. And, I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to bring them in. So I'm with them. I get it, the convenience and not wanting to come. And, we've done the ROI on it, and the value of the customer is so much more if they're not in our store. So, let's find a way to not have them in our store. They spend more money because they're more comfortable. They're in their environment. It's not inconvenient. If they come in the store, they're checking their watch. How long? I got to get out of here. I got to get somewhere. And, give us the time, let us pick the vehicle up, we'll bring it in and we'll service it. We'll bring it back to you. They spend more money.
So let's discuss that. I've seen a lot of the posts that you've had on social media talking about Spiffy. Tell us first of all, why you got involved with them. You've got a lot of franchises and a lot of rooftops at Tom Wood. Why would you reach outside of the franchised or the dealer franchise, okay, and bring in Spiffy, and how did that come about?
It came about, we want to get into the mobile space, and I don't always necessarily think the OEM thinks like I do. So I didn't necessarily want to follow their rules. I didn't want to buy their oil. I didn't want to buy their filters. I want to be able to control that. So we saw the opportunity with Spiffy about 3 years ago that they were launching franchises, and Indiana was an open market. So Jeff Wood and I flew down and we spent a day with them and decided really quickly this will allow us to get in that space and try to understand, because they have an awesome app. They make an appointment on an app, and the app, it's a suggestion. So they can say, hey, I'd like to have a Spiffy in my driveway, changing the oil and detailing my car at 10 a.m. tomorrow. What's interesting is they'll accept that appointment. Do we do that in our stores? We might say, no, that's not available, whatever. Well, Spiffy accepts the appointment, and then they reach back out to him and said, unfortunately, our truck's not going to be available. We have an appointment. We have moved you to, this day or this time. And we seldom lose an appointment because of that. So I learned that, hey, accept the appointment, and then let's find a spot and reach back out to them. But don't ever just say we can't get it in. And so we've learned a lot, with Spiffy and how that mobile system works with the vehicle. We have 5 Spiffy vans now. We service all the Amazon fleets in town. We handle all the rental agencies, Ace, Hertz, Six Rental. We're at the airport now every day. We park 3 vans at the airport. They stay there. Matter of fact, I just leased a building at the airport to do another stand-up oil center, I guess you could say express center, with a car wash. So, yeah, Spiffy's really taught us how to get in the mobile. We've now launched our Ford mobile service, kind of, following a little bit of Ed Roberts' notes there. And we have our 3rd Ford van out on the road.
And on the Spiffy, just coming back to that, what kind of work are you able to do with the Spiffy mobile truck?
Yeah, so we can do oil changes. We do, details, basic, hand wash. It's all hand wash. And what I like about it also, it's all environmental. It's green. We don't leave anything behind. We carry storage tanks in the vans, and we park the vehicles on a mat. We suck the excess oils and the fluids and any water back into the van. We dispose of it appropriately. We also do tires now. So we're the preferred vendor on mobile tires. So I have a mobile tire van that runs around and installs tires.
Wow. So big on the convenience factor, and, amazing that you're doing it. So I know Tom Wood said it's not about the rooftops or franchises, but give us the geography, Bill, of Tom Wood Automotive Group. Where are you located? And again, tell us about the rooftops and so on.
Yeah, so our home office is here in Indianapolis, Indiana, and that's where we were founded in 1967. So majority of our franchises are here on the Automotive. We have some motorcycle stores, outdoor equipment, tractor store. We own an aviation center, so we're big into the airplanes and jets and stuff here in Indy. And then we go up as far as Minnesota. I got to say it right. It's Minnesota, St. Paul. We have Richfield Bloomington Honda. It's a 3-story mega Honda store right there in Richfield. We have a motorcycle BMW, Indian, Ducati right close to that store. We branch over to Lexington, Kentucky. We have an Acura store, courtesy Acura. We also have a Tom Wood Power Sports Indian motorcycle store over in Lexington. And then we go way across the pond to New Zealand, Wanaka, New Zealand. And Wanaka, we have a Honda store there, several motorcycles, Nautique ski boat store. We're working really hard to have electric jet skis down in New Zealand here very soon.
How did the New Zealand? How did that come about? That didn't happen by accident.
Jeff Wood, our owner, was a 30-year military F-16 fighter pilot. So he was a Thunderbird as well, and he flew in and out of New Zealand for many years. And he always wanted to have residence there. So probably 2017, 2018, he filed for dual citizenship. And I knew then we were in trouble. He's going to buy a business. We're going to be in New Zealand, and he didn't hesitate. And we bought our first motorcycle store there, and then we got the Honda car franchise, and we've just kind of grown a little bit into that market.
So, Bill, you've worked your way through the industry, starting at the service station, doing customer service, selling, and then performing those synthetic oil changes. Worked your way up into the industry. You've held all to positions, working your way up. Today, you are the corporate director of fixed operations at Tom Wood Automotive Group, one of the most recognized and respected groups in the United States, I might add. Bill, where do you see, because I think we're in exciting times right now. Okay, a lot of change happening, and you're aware of that. And you're utilizing a lot of new technology there at Tom Wood. Speak to that and talk to us about some of the changes that you see that are transforming our industry.
We have a really close eye on the change, and the buzz on EV. Oh my gosh, the fixed operations is going to go away. I remember back in the late 80s, early 90s when carburetors were going away, and we thought, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? We don't have carburetors anymore. They're taking our maintenance away, and we've always found ways. These vehicles, the way they run, but you also have to look at the latest technology, and we try to stay in that space. I'm big on the AI technology. I have been for years. If there's an AI out there, I'm usually trying it or test it, and looking at probably the next 3 to 4 years of what's the business going to look like. We jumped into the UVI space, and I believe UVI is our answer. I have 11 of them now in our store.
How many UVI units?
I have 11 now.
The last time I spoke to you, we were on a panel. You were waiting on the first one. 11 today.
I have 11 today, and I'm telling you, what UVI I think is going to help us do is it creates the transparency with the customer, because they're scanning the car, we're not. When they drive through that MRI machine, they're scanning their own vehicle, and we're recognizing things before they get out of the vehicle that, either it's a safety problem, we have bulged tires, we have all these things. I'm telling you, Ted, I have more work than I know what to do with at these stores. I cannot handle. I'm buying wheel restore machines. I'm doing everything I can just to keep up and say, it just finds the dents, the scratches, things that, we have on our cars. We just don't have time to take care of. But if you run through one of our stores, it might tell you that's, $150. You want to go, we can do it today. You want, yeah, please take care of that. It's been bugging me. The machines are recognizing these things to the point of just craziness. A dent on the top. I didn't know there's a dent on the top. So I think this technology is there to help us, and it's going to help us get through the transition of EVs. And the UVI soon, they'll probably get mad at me for saying this, but I know a lot of intel with them. They're going to be measuring the heat of the battery cells on EV vehicles and tell you, is this battery failing? Do we have a bad cell in the battery? And there's no other technology out there that's measuring the heat of EV batteries or EV cars. So they just launched a new appraisal tool program. So if you, Ted, if you're the general manager and you're looking for a very specific VIN-related car, you can plug in an alert. The second that car hits the scan, it sends you a text. The car you want is sitting in the drive. And the technology is really there to help us. And again, it's a tool. And if we're not using it, it's just what it is. It's a big computer tool sitting in the drive. So we're working really hard to build the processes from A to Z on that system. And we're doing a really good job with it as a group.
You're really up on the technology, Bill, and you mentioned EVs as well. With all the changes happening in the industry right now, interest rates have changed in the last year or two. Inventory has certainly changed. Okay, how is all this going to play into fixed ops, including the technology that you mentioned here?
Where it's going to get a little more difficult is the technician that we used to have versus what we need for the EV vehicles is different. It's a different person, and it's not the old mechanical rates like I was. It's an electronic guru that's going to be really working on these cars, and it's fascinating, really, for me to engage with those individuals we have around the group. They're a different person, and they love talking, the electronics and computers and the stuff on these EVs. I'm fascinated by EVs. My son is an influencer in the EV space, so I travel with him every once in a while, and he just gets berated by people and questions, and he's more sold on it than maybe I am. So it's a good banter back and forth between us two. I don't think there's an infrastructure for it. He's in the T world that there is an infrastructure for, so he gets it a little bit better. But again, it's a Tesla. It's a company that saw a need. The dealers were not responding, and they created something that just works. And the individuals that are buying some of that, we have to appeal to that, and we have to be able to respond to them. And I think the EV vehicles in our space is going to be fine. We're not going out of business because of EVs. It's just a different type of a service that's coming through.
Bill, let's come back to the people. We started talking about that. You and I have been in the industry a long time. We've seen a lot of change, and I can relate to those long days and many days a week of working at the dealership and, spending more time with the dealership maybe than at home. And it's a changed industry. And, we talked a little bit earlier about culture. What's your view, in terms of, because it still comes back to we're in the car business, but we're really in the people business.
Right?
And there's a lot of strength in the industry's people and the resiliency and attracting younger people into the industry. What are your thoughts there?
I love doing it. And that's probably one of the favorite parts of my job is I started very low in the chain and was able and very fortunate to work through all the different levels to get to a point where I am. And there's so many youth in our network that have no idea what the automotive space is. So if you can get connected, we're connected with the YMCA, we're connected with all the high schools and the career centers, everybody is, but I'm finding more waiters, servers, young folk that are working really hard to take care of customers. We can train them our business. And if we can bring them in from the outside world, they have no idea what they're getting into, and put a good mentorship training plan in place, these guys will be superstars. And I have many of them in our group that are just superstars with the customer. And then we teach the process. The process is really easy. It's a process. But I can't teach customer. I can't teach you if you don't like people. And so we're finding, the servers that just do a wonderful job. And then we're just moving them around. They start in our service BDC center. Young man, Noah, came through our rental agency. He went through BDC, spent a year. I put him through service advisor training 1, 2, and 3 through NCM. I put him at our Audi store. He did a side-by-side shoulder with an advisor for 2 weeks. He came back to the BDC. He still wanted the job. So I sent him out again to a really tough store and tried to talk him out of it. He still wanted the job, and he's very successful at our Volkswagen store right now. He's so compassionate with customers, and that's really what it takes. The rest just happens because we have electronic media. We're doing 94% media on every ASR across the group. Our closing ratio is 38.9% across the group. So I don't need you to sell anything. I need you to present a product, follow the process, let UVI do its job, and then take care of the customer. Everything else just works.
Bill, I don't know this number, but approximately how many employees under your guidance there at the Tom Wood Automotive Group? I won't hold you to it, but an approximate number.
Approximately have 1,131. Wow. Yeah, so we're we're a little larger than I think a lot of people think we are. And a lot of it's because Jeff's passion goes outside the automotive, but it's wheel to wheel. We call it, it's kind of our niche is into the wheel to wheel. And our, one of our niches is to get, let our employees get what they want out of life. And what can we do to make that happen? And that's really a strong push from the leadership executive team is we focus on that. We do offsite meetings every quarter. We do a yearly annual review, just the executive team. And we look at preparing for what next year looks like. That includes every head count of every store. So we watch it really close and make sure we're not overstaffed, and certainly make sure we're not understaffed. And we make sure that we're working on work-life balance at every location.
Tell me about the philanthropy. I know that's something near and dear to your heart, and how you give back to the community every chance you get.
It started back when I was a youngster. I grew up the youngest of 7. We had absolutely nothing. My parents died young, and I wasn't exposed to anything like that. And I came to the big city of Indianapolis. My family still lives on the farms, and I watched Don Palmer was the owner of the group that I used to work for. And one day Don came back and he told me a story that he had just got back from Haiti. I had no idea where Haiti was. And I'm like, Haiti? Like, where's Haiti? And he says, and he said, I said, oh, that Haiti. How'd you get there? He said, well, I flew. I've never been on an airplane. I had never been out of Indiana. So I was clueless, but he shared with me that he would go and loan money to individuals to start a business. And then he was following up to check on the status of the business to see how they were doing. He was coaching them along. Now, Don's a good business mentor, a friend of mine still today, and he knows that I do what I do because of him. When he shared that with me, I said, someday when I grow up, I want to be able to reach in my pocket and give a handout to those that are more deserving than me. So I get a lot of that from him and in my giving nature. He started it. He passed it to me. I'm passing on to others. I can tell you a quick story. I was at a 20 group recently. One of our general managers thought he was going to win the best idea. They give a lot of money, and this is like an owners group, so they give a lot of money, right? Not the fixed guys. So it comes at the end, and they all throw in $100, and whoever has the most to give to the group wins all the money. I have no idea what's going on. The day ends. I get a wad of cash set in front of me and said, Bill, this was great. It's an owner's group. You're a fixed guy. You shared so much, you take the winnings. And I didn't know what to think. I just grabbed it, threw it in my backpack, and my general manager said, hey, halvesies, right? And I looked at him and said, no. We get on the jet and we're flying back. And he says, really? You're not going to give me half? And I reached in and I gave him his $100 back. And I said, I'm not giving you half. I said, I'm not even taking half. I'm giving it all to charity. This is money that I didn't earn. This is money that somebody else can use. And he kind of looked at me, and I fast forward about a month later, he had ordered a new Bronco. And I said, hey, where's your Bronco? And he looked at me, he said, I canceled it. He said, I can't just reach in my backpack and hand a wad of cash to somebody else. I was going to use that as a down payment for a loan against a truck. And I'm no longer going to do that. I want to be in the point that I can just give money away and not bat an eye. And so I feel like I was the Don Palmer in that moment that got him to think about what's more important, a down payment on a Bronco or some people that are just really less fortunate. It's money I didn't earn. It's money I didn't deserve. And it's money I certainly didn't budget. So, those things mean a lot to me from where I started in this industry to where I am now. I can open up opportunities for folk that had no idea what the possibilities are, because somebody gave me a chance 37 years ago when I started this. So, and fortunate that Jeff Wood allows me to do it. We just had our 10th annual toy drive. We gave 3 toys to 3,287 children and 85 bikes. And we do that every year with the support of Jeff to allow us to do it. So, yeah, it's wonderful.
Wow. We're speaking today to Bill Demaree. He's the corporate director of fixed operations at the Tom Wood Automotive Group. Last question, Bill, for today. Here we are, end of January, looking out over the balance of the week. A lot of things coming up in the next week or two, and then we still have 11 months left to go in the year. What's your advice for the dealers, the retail managers who are watching today, as they look out with you over the balance of 2024? What should they be prepared for? What should they expect? What advice could you give them?
As I tell our team, don't get distracted on the outside influence of things that are going on. It's an election year. There's EV, questions, interest rates. There's all these things going on. Focus and pay attention to your business. Every day means every day, as Mr. Anderson says. And we focus on every day means every day. So let's not get caught up on all this other stuff. We got a great year in front of us. 2024 is going to be a fantastic year. And the good news in the car business is every month it starts over. We start fresh. It's zero again. And, we go from winners to losers and just overnight. So, let's just get after it. 2024 is going to be fantastic.
Bill Demaree, great honor to have you with us here today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thanks for having me, Ted. It was great.
Yeah, everybody, Bill Demaree, Tom Wood Automotive Group, one of the pillars in our industry, and certainly one who embraces change. And everybody, Bill Demaree from Tom Wood Automotive Group here today with us at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Wish us luck today. Seatbelt, John. What are you forgetting?
Oh, mirrors. Yeah. You sound just like Dad. Hey, Mom, where do you find the oil stick thingy?
Thank you so much for everything.
Yeah, Sheila, anything you need.
Okay.
Have a great game, buddy.
Thanks, I'll try.
It's your first time out. Relax. Have fun.
Wait, you're not going home? Mom, can I? Oh, seatbelt. That was awesome.
Can we take some time to think about it?
Of course.
Mom! All right, bye, Mom.
Have a good day, honey. Drive safe.
Life is about connection. having a support system to lean on, and roads to endless possibility. At every turn, guiding the way, we are building the connections that move you.
Join the voice behind the Fix Stops Roundtable as Michael Cirillo interviews the fairest of Fix Stops, our own Katrina Ness of Northwood University.
Hey, welcome back to the Fix Stops Roundtable. I'm Michael Cirillo, sitting down now with my new pal, Katrina Ness from Northwood University. Thanks so much for joining me here on the Roundtable.
Hi, Michael. How are you? Hello, everyone. It's great to be on. Finally, not hosting like an after dark show or running the social media like you guys see me and Vanessa do, but now I'm being interviewed. So thank you.
I know it's the tables have turned.
Yeah.
The tables have turned.
There you go.
I'm intrigued by you, I must say. I
Really?
admire from afar. You know why? Because in the car business, especially when it comes to retail auto dealers, we know now that there are third and fourth generation car dealers. But I have to say, and I think it's because of my daughter, Aria. She's 10 now, but when she was 7, she said, Dad, and I'm not exaggerating the language here, Katrina, she said, Dad, what do I need to know to take over your company one day?
Wow.
Katrina, at 7 years old, my sons wanted to be Ninja Turtles. They're teenagers now. I think they still want to be Ninja Turtles.
There you go.
Now I look at you. What does this have to do with you? Because I want to learn all about you. Here you are at Northwood. You're in the automotive program, correct?
Yes.
But I also understand, dare I say, that you have royalty, automotive royalty in your family, in your lineage.
Yeah, I do. So my mom has worked in the automotive industry forever, but for the past 10 years, she's been with Koch Automotive. She loves the people there. She loves the company. She works under like the Viato branch of it. And she really wanted me to be in the automotive industry because she could just see me thrive there. And so this summer, I also interned at Koch because I knew a few of her friends and just like emailed people and just got in contact with people and made my own route and wiggled my way into her company. So yeah.
Now, so do I understand this? There was some conditioning there, like, hey, automotive is a good place to work. Like, at what age did this start?
Honestly, not very young at all. Like, I never knew what I wanted to do. I went to college not knowing what I wanted to do. Well, when I was applying to college, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And my mom was always like, you should apply to Northwood because Northwood has very good ties with Koch Automotive. Koch Automotive has people come in and guest speak and like host labs. And then there's also physical computer labs that's called the Koch Solutions Lab. So Northwood and Koch Automotive ties are very strong. And so she always would go to Northwood and go to the events. And she was like, you need to go to Northwood. You need to tour it. You need to apply. Whatever. So I was like, oh, like small school, like I want to go to Michigan State, whatever. I did get into Michigan State. I did apply, but I toured Northwood and I got involved. As soon as I stepped on campus, they were pushing things on me. They were reaching out to me. I just like felt like, oh, well, I guess I got to commit here now. It wasn't like a bad thing.
You
like,
got puppy mouth closed. No.
They like locked me in. No, but I could not be happier with my choice of being at Northwood. But involvement from the second really shows what Northwood's about and how they really push kids to get involved and have these real life experiences. So,
yeah.
And then from there, I toured and got just kind of more knowledgeable about the automotive industry. And from sitting in class, because I take automotive classes, like I have specialized classes that teach you about how a dealership runs and how they use different softwares and whatnot. So I've been learning and like just absorbing all this information about the industry, and I love it.
Now, not to say you're biased because you're now a second gen. You're a second gen in the auto biz, which is cool, right? Because again, we only hear about it from the dealer side, but to hear about it from, which I mean, you could go dealer and then you know,
I don't know yet.
throw
I'm not
this whole
sure.
interview out. But what's your view? What do you think, based on learning dealership operations and learning, like you said, how the dealership runs and, all of the different things that it does to stay open? What do you think the general public kind of gets wrong about dealership business?
I think dealerships sometimes have a bad rep of just being like money greedy and just like kind of business and mean, and business is scary and mean. But there's so much that goes into a dealership process and different workflows and sales and just everything behind it. And like from learning it in class, I'm so intrigued by it. And I want to get dealership experience so bad. I think that's my next stop on my bucket list, because I think no matter where you go in the automotive industry, you need to have a good basis of where do the cars even come from sales in the beginning.
Right.
So I want to get that like real life dealership experience too. And I've always been good at like talking and sales and whatnot. So I could see myself thriving in an environment and in an environment like that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think the general public has a different view of the dealership kind of workflow and process. But it is thorough, Yeah,
it's a legit business. It's not some weird,
scam. Yeah.
scam.
No.
Yeah, like everybody thinks it is. I think I love that you bring that up, and it's really cool. I mean, it's inspiring for me now. And by the way, it wasn't too long ago that I was like the freshman in the auto industry. And then I blinked and then I got old. But like, I still kind of think of myself as a freshman. But it's cool to see individuals such as yourself being like, oh yeah, there's a place for me here. Like, this is the next generation. How do you feel Northwood in its curriculum? And like you brought up, its desire to involve, its students. How do you think they're setting you up to really succeed in a career in automotive?
Yeah, totally. So I always like to say, like, you can read a book about leadership and you can read a book about, being a good leader, but you can't just jump into the real world and be a good leader, be a good worker, because you need to experience it and you need to grow to be the best version of yourself possible. So at Northwood, yes, you learn and you read in class, but then they push you through these student organizations and these activities held on campus that are 100% student run, and like getting internships. They push you to get that real world experience before you graduate and jump out and have to just get thrown into this big business world of scary people where you're supposed to know what you have to do. So I really appreciate that about Northwood. Like, I'm super involved in our auto show that we have. So I've been involved this will be my 3rd year. And that's really helped me. I was public relations chair last year for our auto show. So I did a lot of outreach, and that's how I got involved with Ted, is through managing his panel that he had when he came to Northwood to do his pop-up event. So I loved it, and I got to speak about Northwood, and I got to kind of interact with people and share about the auto show. So it really trained me well, and I can see myself growing in all these different ways from doing all these different things around campus.
Yeah, I love it. To me, the thing that you're talking about really resonates. This idea of personalization around the experience, especially this day and age. I mean, we don't need to talk about the news with what's happening on other college campuses, but this idea of you go there and you're a number,
right?
And that level of personalization, you're probably going to be left to your own devices to create for yourself. And what I'm hearing you say is, no, that outside of curriculum, there is a structure at Northwood with which you are, called upon to participate in, because they are going out of their way to create events and all sorts of incentives that nudge you healthily towards your choice of career. What's your thoughts there?
Yeah, no, I agree. And it also just like, it makes, for me at least, like, I just want to do it. I think it's a good look. I think it's a good resume builder. You can climb up the ladder and like extracurriculars and be at the top of all these different clubs and organizations. And it looks good. And it's like, if you really want to, have a good excelled career, that's how you do it, is you get involved and you put yourself out there and you be a vibrant charismatic person, you know?
Yeah, I love it. Talk to me about this, not growing up thinking automotive. Now, all of a sudden I'm thinking automotive. Did that surprise you? Are you still surprised by that? What's your thoughts about like, oh, dang, like I'm an automotive, like automotive is now injected into my bloodstream.
Yeah. It's very surprising to me because I'm not like a very big car person at all,
Right.
but I see my mom excel in this industry, and I think I know more about cars than her, and she's been in this industry forever. So it surprises me.
Don't watch that part, Mom.
It surprises me in that aspect because, like, I'm not like, I don't know what's under the engine and everything little about it. Like, I know the business, and I think that's important. But with her kind of growing while I was growing up and she was in the automotive industry, I can kind of see where I kind of followed in her footsteps because I've always looked up to her in that aspect. But
yeah, I love, I think I don't, so side note, here's the TMI for all of the old people. That's too much information. I have 4 sisters. I have 4 sister-in-laws. I have, no brothers. I mean, I have brother-in-laws now and this and that, but I mean, no like blood brothers. Growing up in a home of 4 women, European backgrounded women. This idea of coming into automotive and it being, oh, well, it's a male driven this and that. And I'm like, I don't see what you're seeing.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe predominantly male, but here we see time and time again, strong, passionate, educated, ambitious, new generation of women coming in and saying, I'm vying for the top spot here. With my whole heart of belief that that's going to happen. How do you view it from your angle? What's your ambition? Where do you want to go? What are you seeing in automotive that you believe others are not seeing?
I agree, though. I think it's becoming a lot more women, kind of not dominated, but inclusive and equal.
Yes.
There's a lot more women coming into the automotive industry. The automotive industry is overall pushing, bringing more women into it. For a more diverse work environment and diverse opinions. And honestly, for me, I don't know where I want to go in my future of automotive. There's so many things I want to try, and there's just, I just don't know what I want to do yet because everything sounds so appealing. So my goal is to get an internship for this summer and then the following summer and just kind of test the waters, because you can hop around for internships and whatever, but like once you get out of college, you can't hop around a job every 3 months. That doesn't look good. You can't really do that. Right. So like, this is my time to test the waters and figure out what I want to do. And I'm so excited to just like see into the future and be like, I know what I'm doing for the rest of my life. That is something
now, like, we're going to have to tell Ted to cut that bit out. You know why? Because you just told a bunch of car dealers that you are open-minded and you want to find a home, and they're going to be like, here. And they're just going to be like, Katrina. They're going to be holding up signs. They're going to be flipping signs, blowing up balloons, the wacky, wavy, inflatable, flailing arm tube man. Why? Because if there's one thing I know about this industry, it can spot passion. It can spot talent, which I just believe, and I'm not a smoke blower. I believe you are destined for all of the greatness you can imagine in this industry.
I appreciate that.
And that's one of the things that I love about automotive. Let me ask you, kind of circling back to Northwood, how do you feel like they're positioning you to be able to sink your teeth into whatever it is you want in this industry?
Yeah, honestly, again, with just like the learning experiences and like everyone there is so like, the professors are so passionate about enriching you with information and just building you inside the classroom, but then they're also so willing outside of the classroom to help you with anything you need and to be an advisor for a club you want to have. Like me and my friend Eddie, we're starting a ski club right now because there's been ski clubs, but then they kind of trickle out. So we're starting one right now, and we're trying to do it a little bit differently though. And we're trying to get like sponsors for it and like kind of collab stuff like that, and get housing and whatnot so we can take big trips, and not have it all come out of our pockets. So there's stuff like that where it's on the finance side of it, of a little club. Like you got to do financing for that. You got to do marketing on social media and like all this stuff. So it's even like these little experiences that you get involved in, or like the auto show. It's like you wouldn't be able to find this at a giant school. And even if you did, would you be able to be on top? Like you can be here, because you can be a big fish in this small pond at Northwood. And that's how I think I came about, because I went to like a larger high school and I was in a very smart friend group. But like I felt like my friends were just like, they were all A's and I was all A's too, but I was just like a little like below and a little slower than them, because they were all so like fast paced. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm not going to be able to do anything in life. And then I come to Northwood, this small school, and I'm like, I'm going to hop in and be a brand new person and not let anyone like compare me to them and whatever. So that's what I'm doing now. And I feel like I can just be whoever I want and take on all these challenges.
I love it. There, and that is like a lifelong metaphor, even inside dealership. I mean, how often we see right person, wrong position.
Yeah.
That when all of a sudden they are moved to the right position, boom, they blow up. Right.
Yeah.
And I think, that is a real compelling case for why people need to be considering Northwood to be that stepping stone, to be that accelerant. They need that rocket fuel to push them where they want to go. I love this conversation. I feel like we could chat all day. There's so many different things I want to pick your brain on, but I'm not going to do that to you today. One last question. I mean, so then somehow you find your way to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. How does this happen?
So I was at the auto show. Like I was saying, I was the public relations chair. So the general chair was just like, I got in contact with Ted Ings from the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Now you have to deal with him and manage the panel.
Now you got to deal with him.
Yeah. No, because like he has so much going on and whatever. And I was public relations chair, so I dealt with the media and dealt with, what Ted is and what the Fixed Ops Roundtable does. So I made like a list of panels and like people from each company that are going to come and what time works for them. And then my students and peers that I get along with. So I was on a panel myself and I got my peers to do it, and I made time slots for everyone. So that kind of stuff I had to handle. And I got familiar with Ted that weekend, and the two women he brought down, Sophie and Sarah, I got familiar with them as well, and his team. And after that, he texts me and he's like, I would like to offer you an internship opportunity. And so I hopped on a call with him, and me and Vanessa got roped into it together, and it has been the best thing ever. I have gotten so close with Vanessa. Like we were always close because of auto show executive board. But now we're like taking pictures of each other and like, no, your hair looks bad, let me fix it. Like, just like little stuff like that. And then I love what we've had the opportunity to do with Ted, with like the After Dark show and just the content creation that we do. It's all just been so awesome and fun. And I love it.
That's fantastic. Well, we all love watching it and seeing how the two of you, especially yourself, are taking this ball and running with it at full tilt, which is always exciting to see the next generation moving into automotive. So, Katrina, Ness, thank you so much for being my guest here on the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thank you, Michael.
So being a legacy automotive retailer, we've used a number of different companies over the years to help us train our people and educate our people on everything from sales process to customer service to you name it, anything relating to retail automotive. But in today's world, particularly since COVID, we really set out to try to find a partner that had a much more progressive, contemporary approach to automotive sales, automotive service, customer relations in general. And when we did that, our research led us to the folks at Quantum 5.
Anything that you can do consistently the same way gets better. So what Quantum gives us the ability to do, or has taught us how to do, is follow a very specific framework that delivers a very specific result every time. And that has been invaluable both to our veterans that have been in the business longer than me and the people that we're hiring new. Quantum came into the store as a partner. They've executed on that on every call, every interaction. And what our veteran staff finds to be the most beneficial is they get to continue to learn.
We know that Quantum is more than a vendor, they're a partner. They're actually a part of our business, a core part of our business and our daily processes. When I got into the car business many, many years ago, it was about control this, control the customer, control this. Well, now customers have as much information as dealers. So now it's more about controlling the process, understanding the customer. And that's what Quantum brings to the table. It allows you to have control of a process, understand your customer and your customer's needs, and deliver the relevant information that they need to make that informed decision, ultimately in purchasing a car, but starting with gaining that critical appointment. Quantum puts our client advisors on a pathway to prosperity. Our newer advisors see our seasoned advisors and the success they're having, and the fact that they're bought into the system and they've been on this system for years shows the new client advisors that if you buy in similarly, you're going to yield the same results, if not better. I can't speak enough to what Quantum has meant to our business and to the growth and development of our client advisors.
Join the Noble Knights, John Fairchild and Jonathan Dawson, as they team up to share a new platform called Prepared for Life.
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Time to welcome two great friends of the retail community. John Fairchild, the Fixed Ops Performance Coach with Fairchild Automotive Solutions, and a great friend of the Roundtable, Jonathan Dawson, the founder of Psychology. Both gentlemen with the Pinnacle Training Center. Jonathan having founded it. Gentlemen, welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Excited to be here.
Great to have you. And John Fairchild, thank you again, because another great find by you for the Fixed Ops community, Prepared for Life. Tell us a little bit about what's going on, and then look forward to hearing from what Jonathan has to say as well.
Yeah, Jonathan introduced this idea to me that a client of his has been working with a 20-store group for some time. And the concept of Prepared for Life simply means that I can offer my consumers, my guests in my service drive, a product that will keep them covered for the long term. And what an impact that makes. If I look at the average age of a vehicle on the road in America today, you may be shocked to know what it is. What's your guess there, Ted?
Well, my guess would be somewhere between 12.5 and 13 years, somewhere in there.
You're right on.
Just a wild guess.
I didn't expect anything less. But, furthermore, I go in and I do a dive into dealers' data, and everywhere I go, and I pull out what your average mileage of a vehicle in a store is. Would you have an inclination of what that might be?
That I don't know, John.
Well, it really is getting higher and higher. But in any market I go in, your typical average mileage is right under 100,000 miles. And what I really train service advisors to do is to key in that as an anchor point to my recommendations and ask that customer, how long do you plan on keeping your car? Because now I can tailor my service recommendations to that. And now all of a sudden I'm not trying to sell something, because I firmly believe in a lot of cases the word upsell can be a dirty word. What we should be more concerned about is advising the customer properly. So if I'm advising them for longevity, then this program makes a lot of sense. If I get someone, and I do every day, because I ask people in a service drive, how long do you intend on keeping your car? And what do you think some of the responses are, Ted?
It's going to vary. I would say lately they plan on keeping it quite a while.
Yeah, I asked a lady in a service drive in Wisconsin last week, and she said, until she dies. Mm-hmm. And I said, she? And she said, yeah, her name is Gertrude. She's my baby. And so this product is tailor-made to a longevity customer. And I promise you guys, if you really do a deep dive, you're going to find that your average miles in your shop, pretty much invariably, some lines like Toyota are a little bit higher, but it's going to be around 100,000 miles. And if I have that discourse with the customer, they're going to tell me they're going to keep the vehicle for a long time. So when Jonathan brought this to my attention, it was like it's a no-brainer. And it really caught my attention. So I wanted to make sure I got Jonathan on the program today to really explain the finer details of the program and how it can be an advantage, who it benefits, and how to get involved. So Jonathan, give us some information that we can digest here.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity, John and Ted, of course. So let me give you a little bit of context. In my travels now, I've been serving the automotive community for 2 decades now. So I'm 20 years in, and I've personally been in about 3,000 dealerships in 7 countries and 3 continents. So I've seen a lot. So it is very rare, very, very rare for someone to bring something to me and for me to go, wow, that's new, meaning it's innovative, but it's also valuable. Like, people have new ideas, but I go, that's not a good idea. But when it's a true win-win, win-win-win, where everybody comes out a winner, I go, wow, that's really special for us to be able to offer something like this. So the context is, I have a client that's a large auto group, and they have been internally beta testing a software that they've spent a lot of money on developing for their internal group. And the gentleman who's the kind of the main brain behind it, who came up with the idea, he about 6 months ago was thinking, I think this is a value to our industry. And he's just, he's one of those guys who's an abundance-minded thinker. And he goes, I think this solves problems for not just our clients, but other clients too. So he came to me and he said, hey, John, what's the viability of this? You've seen a lot, you travel. Have you seen anything like this before? And I just said, no, I really hadn't at the time seen anything like that. So what it is in essence is this, for time immemorial, we've been selling cars and servicing cars. And most of the time when we sell a car, we offer the customer the opportunity to transfer risk, to essentially protect their investment with some form of an extended service contract beyond what either the car currently has, or to essentially replace what the car no longer has. And when we offer that, we typically do it at the time of purchase, and it's to, in some way, protect the car. However, every time we do that, that same car will eventually run out of warranty, or a customer may opt out of that, come into our service line. And when they're in the service department now, it happens all the time that people are coming out of pocket to buy repairs. When they do that, that same repair that they just got has a part, has a warranty on it typically. And what this gentleman came up with was, why do we not offer the same kind of transference of risk and peace of mind for the customer in our service department? Why not offer an extended service contract on a repair? And so that was kind of the beginning of it years and years ago when he first had this idea. Now, of course, it started as an idea, but then it had to be validated. So he went and he looked at an actuary company that would do an actual analysis of, maintenance and repair and when does a part actually break? When's the likelihood of it breaking? If a warranty was offered, what's the minimum seed amount you would have to do if you were to reinsure that product? So he's done all this investigative work. He got these very strong financial companies and warranty companies to back the product, because remember, he's a dealer. He's got 20 stores. that he has to first protect, and his customers of those stores are his highest priority. So he wanted to make sure whatever he brought to his customers was viable and valuable. And so that's the birthing of Repaired for Life as a concept. Now, as it evolved, as he got feedback from his service advisors, from customers, as they were internally releasing this product to their own consumers, they got feedback. Some people said, you know what, I don't need a lifetime, but you know what, even if you just protected it for 3 years. So he ended up modifying it. So it's now available, and a dealer has discretion. A dealer that wants to provide this as a service to your customers can choose a lifetime program, or you can do a limited warranty stated term where you can make it a 3-year, 5, 7, you pick the term, and offer it to your customers that way. It's had several iterations, or if you will say evolutions, since it was first incepted as an idea. And along that journey, the final product, what's now available to you, anybody watching this for Fixed Roundtable, if you wanted to install this in your dealership as a value add and as a product that has some profitability, scalability to it, it's pretty exciting. And there's a lot of customization that is allowing for dealers to do. So there's a lot of dealer discretion in how you implement it. But that's it in a nutshell, John. Ted, that's what it really allows a dealer to do, is to offer that extended service contract. It's a reinsurable product, which means the dealer can obviously generate the revenue from the interest, and most dealers who are watching this wouldn't understand what that means. So it's just a really interesting win-win-win. The customer wins because they get peace of mind. The dealer wins because they get the revenue. The service department wins because they're going to gain service business and retain service business. Parts obviously wins, sales wins. Everybody wins with this, and it's rare to find something like that. So we can deep dive a little bit more into some specifics, but that's the broad picture of it.
Jonathan, why did it take so long for the industry to figure this out? Because it's a brilliant plan.
Well, you know what? That's one of the things that essentially every dealer I've mentioned this to, one of their first reactions is, yeah, why wouldn't we, right? I mean, we're offering the ability to do this when they buy a car, because those parts all have limited warranties on them, and eventually something happens. So the idea that a dealer can now offer that to a customer and give them this amazing option of peace of mind, because to John's earlier point, if I'm in the service department and if I'm actually paying customer pay, my intention in that moment is I'm going to keep the car for a little bit just to justify the expense of what I've just done. So in my mind, the idea that, hey, if this particular part and repair has a 1-year warranty, but you could give me as a dealer, you could offer me a lifetime, unlimited miles warranty with no deductible to me on parts and labor for if this thing I just came out of pocket for ever failed again. Yes, please. And on a side note, can I tell you this, Ted? My own mother, who literally, I was sharing this describing this to, she said, John, as soon as a dealership in Atlanta gets this program, will you tell me where to take my car when I need service so I know where to go? Because my mom plans on keeping her car for a while. And she's like, if I knew there was a shop that would do that, that I'd pay once and not have to pay again, I would be taking my car there. So when I've described this to just friends and just people in general, the consumer who's out there, they're like, yeah, I would go to that shop all day long for that kind of protection.
John Fairchild, it makes all the sense in the world. Your perspective, being in the service lane, training advisors and managers on a daily basis.
Well, it does make a ton of sense, particularly, like I said, with people focusing on longevity. Yeah. And, you know, I think that now dealers have an opportunity to kind of differentiate themselves from the pack that's in their general neighborhood. And like Jonathan was referring to, it's really a no-brainer. And why would you go anywhere else when you can get a lifetime warranty on a repair? You know, and like I said, it dovetails so perfectly with the notion of longevity. And it's such an anchor point that a customer is not going to decline it. But Jonathan, speak about what the actual embedded cost is. And there's really two ways you can offer it. You can offer it as an amenity that your dealership caters to for your clientele, or as an upsell, if you will. I know I just said that was a dirty word, but it's really just advice, and it's excellent advice to give a customer. Whether they buy it or not is obviously their choice. But speak to that, those two different things.
So as I told you in the formation of this, because this was created by dealer initially for a dealer and for their clients, so they had a lot of controls in place, especially across 20 stores and as an auto group. They had a lot of ways they could kind of roll it out. So the founder of this decided, let's beta test this a couple of options and see kind of what reactions we get. So in the initial onboarding of this, one option was for literally at the time when the advisor is going over the final ticket, right before they go check out at the cashier, the advisor would simply say, there's a few repairs here that look like they would qualify for our newest program called Repaired for Life, which would allow you to never have to pay for these repairs again. Do you plan on keeping this car for more than a year? And if the client says yes, then he says, would you like to know what it would look like if you protected these with an unlimited mile, lifetime, no deductible? If this thing that you just paid for fails again, you don't have to pay for it again. Would you like to know what that would be? The customer then says yes. The service advisor then literally with a calculator in front of the customer tabulates the actual total, shows it to the customer, and then the customer says yes or no. That was one version they beta tested. The second version is they built it into the DMS with the opt-in codes, opcodes already there, so that it literally populates right on the RO as a line item, and it's distinguished as such on the actual RO. Then the disclosure is a little bit different. It's, hey, Mr. Fairchild, so here's all the work that we did. As you can see, this is, of course, covered with our Repaired for Life program. Here's your total here, and this is what you'll be paying at the cashier. Do you have any questions about it? It was much more of an assumptive by the way statement on that second beta test. And then the third way was to bake it into the actual hard cost of parts and just have an actual cost to absorb the warranty in the cost of the part itself, marking up your part now for the coverage. And then it's no longer now the upsell, it's not presented as an option. It's literally just, hey, your repair includes this as being one of our customers. We believe in lifetime relationships, and so we provide this as your lifetime warranty on these repairs. So there's actually, and again, the dealer who's watching this today, you would have the same discretion. If you wanted to, manually do it, surely you could, but the system now can fully automate and systematize and take the burden off. And you can opt into doing it as a value add where it's not sold as a warranty. It's literally included in the repair. So once again, the dealership has discretion. Do you want it to be a lifetime? Do you want it to be a stated term? Do you want it to be disclosed? Do you want it to be value add? The dealership has options on how they can do that. And just broadly speaking on the money, a way to kind of get dealers who go, okay, what does this look like? For right now, across the spectrum, for every approximate 1,000 eligible Repaired for Life claims or warranties done on your service drive a month, for every 1,000 a month, it's about $250,000 in reinsurance net revenue for the dealer for every 1,000. So if you're doing 2,000 a month, it's it's $500,000 a year. 1,000 is $250,000 a year to the dealer's net bottom line in their reinsurance pool. So it's a pretty lucrative thing because of the economies of scale, right? Because for every one car you sell, you're servicing 20, right? So there's this difference there. And by the way, one other thing that came out of this is that where applicable, late term under warranty repairs. So for example, they have 34,000 miles on a 36,000 mile warranty. It's available on those repairs to offer the customer the ability to extend the warranty on that particular repair that they came under warranty on and give them that same coverage, peace of mind past their warranty expiration date. So it's got a lot of flexibility and a lot of dealer discretion behind it.
Jonathan, you know that we don't sell not enough peace of mind. And there you go. That's got to be number one at the very, very top. I like to sleep at night. I know my customers do as well. Jonathan, what about parts? Does it have to be a genuine part made by the OEM? How's that configured?
Yeah, no. So generally speaking, the rule of thumb has been that the program is designed to allow the dealer to do what's best for the dealer and the customer at the same time. So where applicable, where you have to use an aftermarket part or even a used part, there is the built-in discretion for a dealer to still provide the coverage. There's also gray area opportunities for dealers to have a gray area policy built into the coverage so that where they get to these kind of, hey, should we fix this and this, or how do we take care of the customer? Again, it was built by a dealer to take care of their customers. So there's a lot of dealer discretion built into it so that you can take care of your customers as well, so that it stays that win-win, win-win-win. But another variable on parts that's interesting, Ted, is this. From a parts counter, If I'm the parts counter person and I'm saying to you who's buying over-the-counter parts from me, hey, by the way, when you take this off my property, just so you know, this particular part comes with this standard warranty. However, if you let our shop install it for you, it now has a lifetime warranty, unlimited mile, no deductible. So just wherever you take this part, make sure they stand behind their work. Imagine how many new service tickets you could write from the parts counter for over-the-counter parts with that kind of an offer. So it's really exciting to see how dealers right now are maximizing this program, building that client retention, creating a unique and compelling selling proposition in the marketplace. And first to market, like most opportunities out there, the dealers that grab this first will have that competitive advantage over their competition.
Absolutely. Jonathan, if I could ask a question, that is such a tremendous deal. You know, what are the aspects of the dealership doing the reinsurance internally versus otherwise? Is there an option there, or how does that work?
Yeah, so once again, when it comes to the setting it up internally for the dealership, if you already have reinsurance products and things like that's happening, if you have a dealer controlled warranty, or if you have it administered, how you do it. Once again, we saying Repaired for Life is set up so that you have a lot of discretion. Compared to, like, for example, if the dealer just tried to do it all by themselves, keep in mind that so far over the last 5 years of formation, they've invested almost $8 million just in the software. Because you have part numbers attached to VINs, attached to customers, and you have that multiplied times every job, times every customer, times every month. The data is insane. So some dealers have, when I first brought this, said, well, you know, why wouldn't I just do this internally with, like, I don't know, an Excel spreadsheet? Try that for like a day, an hour, just do it for 1 hour. The software, the systemization, the automation, the integration is what makes this thing work. And that's what makes it a stress-free integration to your dealership. And by the way, just when we're talking about numbers, no cost to sign up, no cost monthly, no setup fee, no monthly fee, no annual fee. This is what it costs you as a dealer to enroll in Repaired for Life. This is what it costs you as a dealer to keep the program on. It's entirely customer paid. You don't pay anything. There's no fee to you. There's no maintenance fees to you. There's no seed fees to you. It's built by a dealer, so he did it the way he would go. This is the way I'd want someone to bring something to me.
John Fairchild, always bringing us the latest best practices. John, you saw this out on the drive. You see this in action. By the way, I love that you're both on the same page, because the call to action, it's really easy. Repaired for Life, RFL, text that to 770-561-4644. And John Fairchild, I love it.
Yeah, get me involved. I think this is a no-brainer. And again, look at your vehicle average age in your shop. You're going to find that it's almost 100,000 miles. These people need this, and we're providing a tremendous value for our clients.
Let me congratulate both of you gentlemen. You're both speaking later this week at the 2024 NADA show in Las Vegas. And if you don't mind, a little aside, if I may, Jonathan Dawson first and then John Fairchild, what are you speaking about this year? What is the topic or topics, Jonathan, if you don't mind?
So this will be my 23rd time speaking at NADA. So I'm honored every time I get the invitation. This will be, I think, my 7th time doing it as a dealer panel. As a dealer panel, I actually have high-performing, top-performing automotive operators. Josh Potts runs one of the most successful Chevy stores in the nation. He's been #1 for Chevrolet several times out of Houston. Scott Simons is one of the most profitable auto group, big dealer groups out of Virginia. They have, I think, 25 stores in their group. And then Patrick Abad. Patrick Abad runs, which we just found out the numbers, the #1 Toyota store, the #1 dealership in all of Georgia, and the store is only 5 years old. So we're going to be talking about the strategic and tactical principles that high-performing operators do. And I've got a dealer panel that's Sunday at 10:30 at NADA, Sunday 10:30. Please look for myself, and please do join us for our presentation at NADA. But it's always an honor to speak there.
Jonathan, exciting. And the fact that you have dealers, multiple dealers. I remember you in the picture with Patrick in front of the dealership, the Toyota store there, seeing that on LinkedIn. So congratulations to you. John Fairchild, you're welcome back to NADA again. Tell me what you got going.
Oh, I appreciate it. You know, I'm big on accountability, and execution. And I feel like there's so many great ideas, so many new software, so much that is new and exciting in IT, but in technology and everything else. But you know what? It all boils down to execution. And the last presentation I did at NADA was the 4 disciplines of execution. But to kind of take that a little bit further from the context of a service manager, what does a successful day in the life of a successful service manager look like? What are some of the functions that are a non-negotiable that have to happen every day, every week, every month to be successful? You know, there's a tremendous whirlwind of activity in a retail car dealership, but guess what? A lot of it does not put another dollar to the bottom line. It does not make another customer any better of an experience. They're the necessary evil things that we have to do. But guess what? Your day can get away from you. And at the end of the day, you walk in with a 20-item to-do list and you leave with a 40-item to-do list. So what are those actual things that I got to do every day amidst the whirlwind of activity that's happening in my service drive that are going to make me successful? That's
now,
what
John, yours is not a dealer panel, or is it?
Actually, I do have a retail person there. Sean Kingery from the Kaiser Automotive Group is going to be with me. It does add a tremendous amount of credibility to what I'm saying and what is coming across. But me and Sean have worked together at various auto groups for the last 4.5 years. And so it is really going to lend a really dose of the retail reality into the program.
Everybody, none better than Jonathan Dawson and John Fairchild with us today. Congratulations on Prepared for Life. If you want to reach out to them, you see the phone number on the screen. Of course, they'll be speaking both at NADA. Jonathan Dawson, also congratulations on your success at Psychology and on that Pinnacle Training Center. Jonathan, coming up on 2 years, I think this spring in April. And what a great idea, Jonathan, to bring all that together there in Atlanta.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. And we're very excited. The calendar for 2024 is beautiful. It's a resource for any dealer in any department that you need enhancement in. We're there to serve.
Jonathan, you even have service drive training on that calendar at Pinnacle?
Yeah, we have service advisor training taught by John Fairchild. We'll have advisor training for kind of the 101s fundamentals, and then we have advanced service advisor, and then we have service manager and service director. When I selected the building for the Pinnacle Training Center, I actually got a building that has a ramp. We literally pull a car into the building and do service advisor check-in training. So we want it to be as real world and immersive as possible to facilitate real training that will actually leave a real impact at your dealerships.
And John Fairchild, you're protected from the elements by bringing the vehicle inside, and you got the full attention of your participants, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. You know, fixed operations personnel love to role play. Also, I found that out pretty quick.
Then John Fairchild with the role play. Everybody, best in the business, both John Fairchild and Jonathan Dawson, here with us today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Selling cars isn't easy. As a sales manager, you're the nerve center of the dealership. You juggle constantly, and you're always making hard decisions. In this case, you got a customer with a 689 credit score and 118% LTV. So, who are you going to submit it to? Wrong! That may have been a good choice a few months ago, but with lenders' ever-changing guidelines, you're better off with coffee mug lading and not golf ball lading. It shouldn't be so hard. With AutoFi's intelligent lender routing, we take the guesswork out of lender selection, strategically submitting to fewer lenders but with more approvals. Your sales guy just got back from the test drive, and his customer's excited and ready to talk. So he heads over to the sales desk to get the numbers. Whoa! Get in line, it's gonna be a minute. It shouldn't be so hard. With AutoFi's dynamic desking solution, your salespeople can immediately present numbers to customers while their buying temperature is at its peak. And with the management guardrails and controls that protect gross. You know what kills deals in gross? Time. AutoFi eliminates the waiting and expedites the yes. After a lot of back and forth, your sales guy is wrestling with a customer who's made it abundantly clear he's not paying more than $500 a month or 5% interest. Good luck, bro. It shouldn't be so hard. AutoFi empowers your team to work the deal side by side with the customer, disarming them with choices. You can work a payment, choose F&I products, and present real lender offers from banks they trust. In this case, Mr. Tough Guy customer was able to lock in a deal and bumped himself by 2 points in the process. For decades, we've said there has to be a better way. And now, there is. A way to sell cars faster with higher customer satisfaction, all while protecting gross. AutoFi, because selling a car shouldn't be so hard.
We are cooking up something special with our next speaker. Please welcome the VP of Partner Development at OEM Interactive, Randy Koch.
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Randy Koch is with us. He's the Vice President of Partner Development at our friends OEM Interactive. First time on the roundtable. Randy, welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thank you, Ted. It's a pleasure.
Pleasure as well. And, great to meet you. I've heard all about you. You've got a retail background. I want to ask you some questions about that today. First of all, Randy, I can't think of a better time to be in fixed ops, particularly in your niche in parts. Parts, I've said it before when Aaron was on the show, parts is hot.
Yeah, absolutely. Parts, I've always felt that even from my experience at the dealer level was the heart and soul kind of to the dealership. I know a lot of times it kind of gets put on the back burner, but as someone that grew up in the industry, my father was a fixed ops director for 40 plus years.
Wow.
So it was kind of ingrained in me at a young age, even when I was like 10, 11, 12 years old doing his physical inventory counts. I didn't know at the time that why he was having me do all the counting of the bends of the nuts and bolts and the fuses. Pretty sure it's because he didn't want to, because how meticulous it was, but how important that kind of stuff is and making sure that we have everything and that having that inventory management and control. So again, I was brought into this business from a very young age.
Well, tell us a little bit about that. That's a fascinating background. So did you plan on getting into the business after that experience, or how did this all come about?
No. So ironic you say that, because when I was probably 16, the GM of the store that my father worked at asked me what I wanted to do, and I told him I wanted his job. So ironically, but I didn't know at the time what I wanted to do. Went to college, played baseball, got a marketing degree. And when I got out, it was 2010, not a great time to, the Caterpillars, all the headquarters were up where we're currently located, State Farm, nobody was hiring. So we had an opportunity to work at the dealership. So I started out as an advisor. First year out of college, moved into the service department, assistant service manager. 2-3 years later, became the fixed ops director, and 8 years later became the GM of our sister store. And obviously we started. In that time we actually decided to start the e-commerce. That was actually before I even got there. It was there, and did some wonderful things with that.
Let's talk a little bit about your role at OEM Interactive. First of all, for those who don't know, give us the lay of the land. What does OEM Interactive do? And then tell us about your role, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So OEM Interactive is a full marketing service for fixed operations. We specialize in parts, accessories, online sales. I actually partnered myself when I was at the dealer with OEM Interactive. I used several marketing services before. Nothing was really kind of getting off. I was doing maybe $1,000 a month in sales. at the most. Ironically, went out to NADA, met with OEM Interactive, and we hit it off. I knew at the time, wow, this guy really knew how to be a partner, right? And so he wanted to learn about me. I wanted to learn about them. First month we took off with their marketing services. We did 15K. Next month we did 30. 6 months later we're doing 50. A year later we're doing 100, and it just kept growing. It got because and really the main reason what happened was I became a student of these manufacturer programs, right? Whether it was like obsolescence tools, buying in bulk, the kickbacks that the manufacturers give. I really wanted to understand early on as the fixed ops director, okay, how can I utilize this? And then I would share some of that information with OEM Interactive. Okay. And so they took and they were like, okay, that we've got our secret sauce. You're telling me, okay, you can buy this. Okay, let's run campaigns on this. Let's do, there's certain things. And so they listened, and that was huge. And we had, monthly conversations, and that's what helped grow so fast. And they were saying, hey, take photos, let's do some videos, making sure we're updating, whether it's accessories or parts, or we wanted to sell t-shirts, hat, it didn't matter. Like we were basically one and one. So OEM Interactive is an extension of your dealership. We don't like to use the words vendors. There's a reason why the title, it's in our title, partner development. We are there to help you develop and grow as a full fixed operations.
That's fascinating. And that growth was lightning fast, Randy, really quick. So tell us what you're doing now at OEM Interactive now that you've joined the team.
Yeah. So when I joined the team about 2 years ago, my role is very much partner focused. We have a well-rounded team of automotive enthusiasts. There's a lot of us that have, myself coming from the dealer background. We have gentlemen from aftermarket space. We have former parts managers. We have people that have been on the platform spaces, and they get it, right? They've done this before, whether they've either boxed themselves or they've had the communications with customers. We've been in their step, or we've been where they've been or where they are. And so we can relate to them. And so what we do is, yes, there's the PPCs and the Google ads, and that's just half of it, right? There's, okay, what's the best shipping strategy? How we're helping our partners, we're looking at their communications, making sure that, hey, make sure that it's not all in like capitalized letters, right? So we're not yelling at the customers or, as it seems. There's, we're doing a lot of hands-on, if they want to make tweaks to the sites, we're doing that. Some of them want to be text-based. We have a wonderful platform called Parts Messenger Pro where it helps our dealers be more efficient, where they can handle multiple conversations. They can, sometimes if they don't have the capacity to answer all the phone calls, this is a great tool to be able to give them, and they are able to use that on the site and be able to communicate, and it helps conversions, right? If you can answer somebody quickly, hey, is this part in stock? Yes, it is. Here's you send them a link to it. They can click on it and they can go about their day. It's there's a lot of moving pieces. And one thing that with the partner development team that we do is, and it's kind of like I used to, as a former fixed ops GM, you get a lot of vendors come in, they sign with you, and then you never hear from them again. I could not stand that. And I did not want, when we started creating this partner development team, I wanted to make sure that our partners heard from us, twice a month, whether it was by email or phone call. And so again, we really kind of consider ourselves an extension of our partner's dealership.
Go back to the time when you were the fixed ops director. Tell me why you decided to get into e-commerce. And if you wouldn't mind, tell it to your peers, the other fixed ops directors who are watching today. What made that decision happen?
Yeah, so it's so the online was already there when I got there. Again, it wasn't doing very well, but we saw this great opportunity to, and honestly, just like everybody else, is make more money, right? Find a different avenue to make more money. What I didn't foresee is when I started growing was obviously you have to start stocking more parts. So your inventory had to be like in line, had to be top notch. We also took over a dealer that had a lot of obsolescence. So we needed a tool to help us get rid of that stuff. And that's exactly what it did. So not only did we get it to make more money or find another avenue to grow, what I didn't foresee was how much it was actually going to help our technicians, my service department, and also the sales department. The fact that you're selling more, and a lot of these inventory tools, as you sell more, they ask you to stock more. These cars are not they're not sitting idle. You're not waiting for another part. So we had more efficient inventory to where the technicians aren't standing around and waiting for parts, or you got to order them. It's there. So that was huge for our service department. Sales, so you get a car sales. People are excited. They want to get the new floor mats or the cargo tray. We have it. We've got it in stock because we're selling so much online that we're buying in, more bulk.
Talk to me some more about the efficiencies and the time-saving strategies that you've been able to develop that now you can pass on to others in the industry, because I think that's really unique.
Yeah, I mean, it goes down to, even like boxes. I mean, it sounds so silly, but you got to buy boxes, right? Or I'll be honest, what I used to do from the very beginning, I got a little bit of this from my dad. He's a little tight with the money sometimes, which is a good thing, because I would literally go to body shops and say, hey, what are you doing with these boxes that don't have maybe if it was a Mazda, it was just a plain box and they were just broken down and they were just going to recycle them. I was like, you know what? I could save money by, using that 24 by 12 by 8 box, or that 8 by 8 by 8 box. And so I would go to body shops, or I had a buddy that had his own business, and he'd get bots and ironically they'd say, hey, Boxman's here to pick up this supply this week, but it was saving money, right? And especially at the very beginning. And then efficiency size is, we had everything labeled. Like, here's an 8-inch box. Here's a 10-inch box. Here's a 12-inch box. Here's 18. Like, we got to the point where we inventoried our boxes just like we did our parts. We wanted to make sure, like, our shipping solution was, it was like a warehouse. It was a warehouse, but it was very streamlined. There's things like Parts Messenger Pro that really helped us communicate better. That was huge for us. When you're getting 50, 75 phone calls a day and you're able to kind of, control those a little, minimize those a little bit, but you're still getting that communication with the consumer. That was huge. We were able to handle more communications on a daily basis. There's all sorts of, like I said, Parts Messenger Pro was very successful for us. Trying to think of, there are all sorts of efficiencies, right, Ted? And I'll be honest, like when I first started, we made a lot of mistakes. But you learn as you grow, and that's what I'm trying to minimize. And that's what our team does, is we, tell our partners about, our failures and our successes, because we want them to know that we've been there and we've done what they're currently doing.
Here we are, end of January, looking out into the new year. Still got 11 months left. What do you see ahead for dealers in 2024, and how can OEM Interactive help those dealers, as a true partner in the industry? And what can dealers expect?
I think 2024 is going to be a great year, especially for e-commerce sales. E-commerce is over the last few years has really taken a boom, right? I think now is as good a time of any. I think obviously with car sales starting, we can go down like interest rates, and car sales should be starting to incline even. But at the same time, used cars are the average age of a used car is continues to grow. And so what's that mean? That means more parts and accessories are going to need to be purchased. So I think 2024 looks to be great. OEM Interactive is, and obviously I'm a little biased, is the #1 marketing company, especially for fixed ops. Like I said, no other company out there has like-minded people that have been in the industry, understand it, and then also have the background of big marketing companies that have done like Super Bowl ads, and so we're well-rounded. We understand the industry, and again, I think 2024 is going to be a great year.
You're going to NADA. I see a booth number scrolling across the bottom. Tell us about that at the end of the week.
Yeah, absolutely. So OEM Interactive is going to be at NADA for the first time. This will be exciting. For me, I'll be on the opposite side of the table. So that's definitely going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Please stop out. Anybody that wants to learn more, obviously you can go to oeminteractive.com and find out even more. You contact us. Like I said, there's more than just parts and accessory sales. We have a lot of stuff that we're going to be putting out at NADA.
Well, Randy, congratulations to you and OEM Interactive. Big part of the roundtable. You're an exciting field you're in right now. So again, and thank you for being with us here on the roundtable.
Thank you, Ted. I really appreciate your time.
Randy Cook, everybody, from OEM Interactive, here with us today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Hi there. My name is Aaron Waters. I'm the president and founder here of OEM Interactive, the digital marketing firm that specializes in online parts and accessory sales. At OEM Interactive, our philosophy has always been very straightforward. Our people, our partners is our purpose. Our team is built of experts not only in marketing and advertising, but also in fixed operations. Our expertise and strategies are proven to supercharge your online parts and accessory sales. Sound good to you so far? Great. Head on over to oeminteractive.com to learn more about partnering with us. OEM Interactive, sell more parts today.
Mount your noble steed. Welcome back to the Knights of the Fixed Ops Roundtable event.
Advance your technician productivity with our next segment featuring Les Silver of Dynatron Software and Marcus Aman.
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. It's a great honor to welcome to the roundtable Les Silver, the executive chairman of Dynatron Software, and Marcus Aman, our great friend from Bayley. Les and Marcus, welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Ed, good afternoon, good morning. We're glad we're able to spend some time with you, starting the new year off right.
Yeah, no better way to start it off than with you two gentlemen. You are fan favorites, and congratulations to both of you on the success that you're having with your various products. A lot of inroads made here in fixed operations these last few years, and I'm excited about learning the revenue drivers today and how that works. So Les, I'm going to go ahead and turn the show over to you and to Marcus.
Thanks so much, Ted. We really appreciate it. If we can click to the next slide, please.
Yep, here we go.
You remember that I have on numerous occasions talked about, we call the 7 times rule, which says you don't really understand the concept until it's been repeated 7 times. So I'm going to repeat probably for at least maybe the 4th or 5th time the drivers of service department revenue and where we have to be focusing our efforts if we're going to see the service department growing. We're going to start at the top in the center with quality. You're not going to have a service department growing if you don't do good work. Technical quality is a mandatory price of entry. There's also the quality of the customer's experience. How good do they feel about doing business with you? Do they feel like it's a necessary evil, or do they feel that this is a good place, a friendly place, a place that cares about them? You need to have both. You need to have technical quality and the quality of customer experience. That gives you the opportunity to have sales that are commensurate with that kind of quality. And our labor sales is driven by the number of customers that we have, the number of hours per customer, and the number of dollars per hour, the effective labor rate. That's the labor formula. Associated with that are parts that come along with it. You all have a parts to labor ratio. The more labor you do, typically the more parts, fluids, and accessories go along with it. The third area, the one on the bottom right, is capacity. How many techs do you have? How efficient are they? And what are the hours of operation? The reason we talk about this so often is because these are three interrelated drivers. It's like the spinning plates where you put them on the stage, give them a spin. Before you know it, one is wobbling and front comes crashing down, and you need to keep great balance. Today, what is the emphasis? If you look at your shop and ask yourself the question, what do I need most? Is it more sales, or is it more capacity to do the sales? We find that a large number of our customers, and we're up to about 3,500 customers now, a large number of our customers are finding that the technician capacity is a constraint to be able to make the sales. You can't do the work if you don't have the capacity to do the work. And you can't sell the work if you don't have sufficient spare capacity. You know, we're going to do a multi-point inspection as an example. You're going to find stuff. If it's going to take weeks to get that work done, you're going to create a pain point that's going to preclude you from selling more and make your customers unhappy, make your staff unhappy. So capacity is the area that we find in today's market, and it does move around, but in today's market, capacity is the most important area for being able to drive additional revenue.
Congratulations, by the way, on that 3,500 number. That's huge, Russ. Sorry.
Well, 23 was an amazing year. We grew by over 40% and hit close to $50 million in revenues last year. And we're very hopeful that that will continue at a similar pace in 2024. One of the reasons why we think we can is because we've associated ourselves with top-notch folks like Marcus, who is dealing head-on with the issue of capacity, making sure that there is a capability for the technicians to get the work done. So I'd like to turn my meeting over to Marcus, who will describe what's Bayley doing and how does that fit in the capacity equation. Marcus, over to you.
Thanks, Les, for your insight. And Ted, thanks for having me back here on the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Always a pleasure to be here. I just want to add on to the topic that Les was speaking about. So in order to do that, can we go ahead and move to the next slide?
Absolutely.
Excellent. So let's have a quick look at dealerships. So they typically have a lot of employees, a lot of vehicles, a lot of customers, a lot of moving parts, a lot of communications needed at a dealership, and there's usually a lot of ground to cover. Real estate, you know, dealerships are usually spread out over several different areas. You've got your service department, you've got your parts department, sales, detail, recon, vendor work area, maybe a PDI holding area. So there's just a lot of real estate there externally, but also internally with the building itself. So can we go ahead and move on to the next one?
Absolutely.
All right, so let's talk about focal point number one, which I believe is time. And there's a saying or quote that goes, you either run the day or the day runs you. And part of running that day is having a daily plan and sticking to that plan, but it's harder to stick to the plan if we aren't manic about time in general. We don't want to just show up to work every day just for the sake of being there. We need to have a plan and we need to stick to it and guard it as much as possible. So we need to consider the impact of reducing non-productive time in our service departments, but really overall in our dealership. And we know that time is that one thing that we'll never get back. So in service, we use the word time often because we usually associate time with labor time or estimated time to complete repairs. So how do we maximize the time we have, and what type of time should you focus on? Well, unconventionally, I'm going to take a different approach. Rather than talking about selling more hours and driving revenue, I think we want to look at the factors that affect our time while we're there and break it out across job duties. So for service advisors, they can be really, really, really busy on a daily basis. So we don't need them spending 10 minutes in the shop 5 or 6 times a day. That's about an hour a day they're spending in the shop in total if they don't have access to the answers they need right away. An example is time they waste searching for answers on a customer's vehicle. So say, for instance, a customer calls in and checks on the status of their vehicle, but the advisor can't see the exact status in the DMS or CRM tool they're using. So they have to walk back into the shop to get an update. Do we think the service advisor walks directly back into the shop and back to their phone to update the customer? I think the answer to that is no. The technician may have taken the vehicle for a test drive or either is waiting on the parts department or whatnot. But our job as leaders is to keep our advisors focused, informed, and ready to do business at all times of the day. So we have to ask ourselves, are we doing that? Or ask, how much time are my advisors spending searching for answers daily? Do we really know the answer to that? Because we should, and we should try to minimize that wasted time as much as possible. Technicians is another area that we need to focus on. I bet you, if you were to go to any dealership in America today, and you just sat in the parking lot, you may watch a technician walk out of the shop with a key in his hand above his head while he's hitting the alarm button or lock button to identify or locate the vehicle. Sometimes the key fob battery in that key is dead. In some cases, the vehicle he needs to work on is parked in the wrong location. Maybe it's out back, maybe it's half a football field away. So we got to ask ourselves, how efficient is that, or how wasteful is that? How much does it cost us when we have a flat rate technician searching for a misplaced vehicle or key? Another thing to ask is, how much is it costing us and our technicians when they have idle time waiting on estimates to be billed or MPIs to be discussed, or even the parts counter for routine maintenance items? And then lastly, when you have technicians waiting or searching for anything, your service bays are now billing you for non-use. And that form of payment comes in the form of 0 hours, 0 labor dollars collected, and an unhappy technician. And if you ask me, that doesn't sound good at all, does it? So now let's look at management. Our job as leaders in the dealership, not necessarily our service department, but our overall dealership, is to make sure that we're maximizing time for everyone. And that may come in the form of creating more time, which is hours turned, or getting cars out faster in service or through recon quicker, and really removing any type of time constraints that our people have there. Our job as a leader is to be a great defender, like the great NBA player Bill Russell or Hakeem Olajuwon, because defense wins championships, and we have to defend and protect our time while creating additional time for our people. You can go to the next one, Ted. All right, so let's talk about focal point number 2, which is data. So this is the Ken Pomeroy college basketball rankings for 2024. And it ranks teams based on many different variables, but the 2 most important are offensive efficiency and defensive efficiency of an NCAA basketball team. And you may be wondering, what in the heck does this have to do with fixed operations or dealerships? Well, it's more so the principle than anything. In these rankings, would you believe that 73% of the time the higher ranked team wins, and the last 9 of 12 NCAA champions were in the top 5 of efficiency? So if you were a betting man, you'd use this data to make a prediction for this year. The best college basketball teams are the best in efficiency. In fact, the best sport teams usually are, and they're also driven by data on the other team, data on their own players, data in everything. So we got to ask ourselves, is it easy for us at the dealership to really identify where our inefficiencies are at? Or do we have to go searching deep into the abyss for it? You know, the best teams are always the most efficient. You can go to the next one. So I'd like to continue talking about data by combining location data with time. There's so much data at the dealership, it can be really hard to just focus on everything. And that's why it's important to have a real narrowed focus on just the data that you need to take action on. So for an example, a dealership has several service bays. They have several locations that vehicles are located. They have several people involved in moving them or servicing them. They have salespeople trying to sell vehicles. And the DMS collects a ton of data and information from repair orders, customer info to stock number and vehicle information. You have technician data and service advisor performance data in your DMS. But one thing that most dealers are missing is knowing location data and issues within steps in their process backed by real data. Not the manual point and click type of data, but the actual data that's automatically captured by the location of the vehicle and its movement. So if I were to ask most managers today, do you know how long a service vehicle sits in the parking lot after a repair order has been written before it enters the shop? They may not know the real answer to that question, but they should want to know due to its potential effect that it has on customer service and customer pay dollars driven in. Or if I were to ask a dealer, does efficiency matter to you? Most of them would say yes, but they really have little data driven insights to show them where they're actually inefficient at. And that's why I believe dealers should want to receive a daily exception report on vehicles that are requiring attention or action based on their locations, because they don't have time to search for it or investigate and play detective. You know, you need someone, a great partner like Bayley or Dynatron, to tell you and coach you on what you need to do better. You can go on to the next slide. So I just have one question. If I were to ask GMs or fixed ops directors, how much time on average their people spend away from their desk searching for the answers they need, you know, I'm not sure they know the answer to that. And I don't want to speak for any of them, but I'm not sure that they know the exact answer to that. And if you pop over to that last slide there. So let's do some quick math here. If you had 30 employees spending an average of 1 hour per day looking for answers, and remember that advisors can spend up to 10 minutes per shop visit away from their desk, and that happens multiple times daily, that equals 30 hours of lost productivity a day.
Well,
30 hours of lost productivity times your labor rate, and just in this instance, we'll use $150 for this case. That's $4,500 a day in lost productivity, just in productivity cost. And if we times that by 27 working days, that's $121,000 a month problem that you have there. So the need to focus on time, especially wasted time, is critical at the dealership because it could be costing you $121,000 a month in lost productivity.
a lot of money.
Yeah.
And amazing, Marcus, that even in this day and age, okay, you know, with all the technology and all the tools that we have out there in our industry, you know, that, you know, this is still a tremendous focal point for our industry.
Yeah, well, I mean, and you look at other industries and how they use, you know, location to help them identify inefficiencies and things like that. It's definitely something that we need to be using in the automotive space.
So let's recap. The opportunity is enormous. You've proven that at Dynatron, and you know, the facts don't lie that that yourself and Marcus just presented.
Well, the constraint of capacity, which is driven by efficiency, which is impacted by, do you know where the car is? You know, do you know where the keys to the car are? How much time is wasted every day by technicians, by service advisors, by lot porters, just because they can't do the basics? And that then translates into an inability to really understand how long is it taking for each step in the process. Because if you don't know where it is, you have no idea. cars do get lost. And it's unfortunate that that happens not only for service cars, but new vehicles that are in stock are also lost. And the salesperson's trying to find them, running around with a chicken without his head, trying to find the car so the customer can buy it. Terrible, terrible.
Marcus, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I'd like to say that, it's also about how long things sit in certain locations, and being able to identify, thresholds that you may set and say, this car's been sitting in detail for over 24 hours. We need to take action on moving that because it shouldn't be there for over 24 hours. Things like that. Do you know that on a daily basis without having to leave your desk, walk the lot, and understand what's going on at every second of every day,
Everybody, Dynatron Software and Bayley offer tremendous tools for our industry that are effective, that are in play right now with a lot of the folks at the Fixed Ops Roundtable and throughout the industry. Gentlemen, will you be at NADA later this week?
Yep, we have a booth at NADA and we'll be there. Look forward to visiting with not only current customers, but also anybody else that's interested.
And Marcus, I assume you're going as well.
Yes, we'll be there in the North Hall. 6713N is our booth number. We invite anybody to come over and just shake our hand and let us show you what we offer to the industry.
All right. Well, look forward to all the success that you're having. Great news. Eye-opening, eye-popping presentation, Marcus. And
thank you.
Les, as always, right on the money. So everybody, Les Silver is executive chairman at Dynatron Software. They're the best in the industry, a big part of the Fixed Ops Roundtable, and they have been for a long, long time. If you haven't yet met with Les's team, please do so. And you'll see the information scrolling at the bottom here. Marcus Aman at Bayley, same thing, revolutionizing the game. So Les and Marcus, on behalf of the Fixed Ops Roundtable, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Ted. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Ted.
Les Silver and Marcus Aman here with us today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Opportunities for revenue growth are out there, and they're closer than you think. The problem is most service departments lack the time, software, and data to see these opportunities. They're in the dark. That's where we come in. We help shed light on revenue growth opportunities hidden within your data. Dynatron gives you the tools, coaching, and knowledge to maximize your service department revenue. From optimizing labor rates on maintenance and repairs to helping with manufacturer warranty labor rate and parts markup, our training and software gets you the most from your data. We illuminate these revenue opportunities with 3 fundamental solutions powered by our ROI suite and expert coaching. Price Smart. Our Price Smart solution drives additional revenue through price optimization. Charging the perfect price for services maximizes revenue while maintaining retention. Pricing compliance, holding service advisors and technicians accountable to avoid costly mistakes that can lead to significant ELR and retention erosion. And parts and labor warranty filing. Price optimization and compliance prior to filing maximizes the process, which leads to larger revenue opportunities. Where other companies just file, we maximize and file. Sell Smart. Our Sell Smart solution is a customized, dealer-specific, technology-enabled sales training program for your service advisors and management team. It focuses on improving each advisor's revenue-generating potential with continuous improvement. Small but consistent changes add up to big results. Market Smart. With Dynatron's Market Smart solution, we analyze your service department data to develop custom, multi-channel marketing campaigns that target existing and new customers. We guide additional traffic to your service drive, resulting in tangible ROI. Powering these solutions is our ROI suite and expert coaching. We take your repair order data, process it through our proprietary algorithms, curate new data, and combine to find new insights. Then, our expert coaches guide you through our proven turnkey process to discover new opportunities and deliver results, ultimately seeing a 5x to 15x ROI each year you partner with Dynatron. Managing your service department is hard enough. You don't need another vendor. You need a long-term partner. Don't stay in the dark. Accelerate your service department revenue today. Visit DynatronSoftware.com.
Turbocharge your warranty processing into the modern age with Jim Roche, CEO and founder of WarrCloud.
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Jim Roche is with us. He's the founder and CEO of WarrCloud, a company that has come on the scene very, very strong lately. Jim, you are an overnight success, it seems, but I know there's been a lot of work behind the scenes, and congratulations to you, and welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thank you, Ted. It's good to see you and nice to see everyone here. A little late, but Happy New Year, everyone. Yeah, I smile at overnight success. Funny how typically overnight successes seem to take years and years, but I'll go with it.
Jim, you really are. I saw in your LinkedIn profile a tech pioneer. You had the vision to envision WarrCloud years ago at a time when, let's face it, warranty has not always been the sexy thing that you've made it today. And you've grown in great strides. And congratulations again on all the success that WarrCloud is having.
Thanks, Ted. You know, I have been an entrepreneur for a long time, but I learned that from everyone's favorite entrepreneur in automotive, Les Silver. So it's an honor to follow Les. So thank you.
Yep. All right. So with that, I'm going to let you take it away because I know you have a lot of great information, Jim, as always, to share.
Thank you, Ted. Today our topic is going to be pivoting. And when I say pivoting, just so that we don't lose track, I'm talking about the verb pivot. Of course, it completely changed the way in which one does something, or to run or manage something in a completely different way. Those are the definitions from Oxford. And just for fun, let's look at some notable business pivots, just by example. I'm sure we all remember this guy. Great success, Steve Jobs, one of the founders of Apple Computer. But he saw what was coming, which was that personal computing had a limit, and devices were getting smaller and were going to proliferate. So he pivoted Apple Computer to be Apple, and moved into different types of computing, most notably the iPhone, and later on the iWatch, which great success. How did that pivot work out? Well, that's a chart of Apple's stock trend. And as you can see, they began climbing in late 2008, 2009. Yesterday, when I checked, Apple was worth $2.9 trillion. So if you look at the line from in the 80s and the 90s up until 2000 before the climb started, I think we can all agree that that's not a bad pivot.
Nice job.
Maybe a more fun one. Everybody remember this guy? Those of you who don't, particularly the younger ones, that's Marky Mark Wahlberg, who at the time was a rapper. But I think he took a look and said, the type of rapping that he was doing, he didn't see it panning out. So he pivoted. He pivoted into another form of entertainment. And then he expanded his pivot into a whole other series of businesses, including ours. Well, how did that pivot work out? Well, as of 2019, his movie's total gross was about $6.3 billion. And the guy is worth $400 million now. So again, not a bad pivot.
Not bad.
So hold the thought of pivot in the back of your mind. Let's come back to our industry and what is happening around us. Very, very interesting. First of all, if you look at the overall automotive outlook, 23, not a bad year, but we're challenged on the variable side of the house. New vehicle gross down 26%. Used vehicle gross down 23%, F&A down 8%. Overall dealership profitability in 23 down almost 20%.
Wow. Plus,
we're grappling with, a tightening regulatory environment. Interest rates have been up, inflation is up, consumer sentiment down 30%. And of course, bringing it back to fixed operations, we're going to see more and more EVs being sold, which may impact customer pay sales. And I think the best way to sum it up is a recent headline from Koch Automotive, who said, hey, in fourth quarter of 2023, U.S. dealer sentiment tumbled. That pretty much sums it up nicely. And I think 2024 is going to be an even more challenging year because of all these things that we are seeing unfolding. But let's zoom in even more into fixed ops and into one of the two primary revenue streams in fixed ops, warranty. I think we all know what's happened with warranty over the last little while. We saw a huge run up in warranty revenue before the pandemic, and then, of course, a little bit of a drop. But what we are projecting now is an almost 20% increase in warranty revenue through 2026. And that will be driven by two things. One, we're going to sell millions more new vehicles. We already are. And that means millions more warranty covered vehicles on the roads. And second, and maybe not as expected, J.D. Power says that the warranty costs on an electric vehicle run about 300% higher than an internal combustion engine. I know that is really counterintuitive, isn't it, Ted?
Well, yeah.
But we're going to be selling more and more EVs, and primarily those two things are going to drive up our warranty revenue and the demand for warranty claims processing. At the same time, what's happening is that the human beings who historically have processed warranty are on the decline. They are leaving automotive, they're aging out of the workforce, or they're just going someplace else. And the younger generation is not backfilling. Well, obviously, what this does is it creates a scalability problem for us as we go forward. If we have a higher demand for warranty claims processing at the same time, or the human beings who have done it for literally decades are on the decline, that's going to be a problem, and it's already a problem, as some of you know. Plus, the volume and complexity of warranty processing is just a huge challenge. It is getting more and more difficult. There are more and more choices, and it is beginning to exceed the capacity of humans to remember and manage all of these things. So that's really interesting. And what I'm going to do now, Ted, is I'm going to debut some new information. WarrCloud is a thought leader in this space. Okay. We invest in a lot of market research to understand how dealers and service leaders think about what's happening, particularly with warranty. And we just completed our latest round of market research in December, and I'm going to share it with the audience of the Fixed Ops Roundtable, seeing this for the first time.
All right, so, we're ready.
Well, first, let's ask some questions. What do dealership people think has happened with warranty claims volume in the last 3 years? Well, 58% of you believe warranty has increased in the last 3 years, and that's a 17% change from 2020. About 27% of you believe it has stayed the same. So more than double say that it has increased, which is really interesting. Well, what do we think is going to happen with warranty in the future? Will it increase or will it decrease? Dealerships are anticipating a rise in the volume of warranty claims going forward, with 55% of you expecting to submit more claims. Now, even more remarkable, this is a 47% increase over 2020. Back in 2020, most people thought it was going to stay the same, but now we see this thing is going to ramp up significantly. Only a small fraction, about 5%, foresee any kind of a decrease.
Wow.
How are EVs going to impact warranty? Well, when we did the research, nearly half of dealers believe that EVs will lead to a higher volume of warranty claims, which marks a substantial rise, 59% from the 30% who had this perspective in 2020. See, back in 2020, EVs were, the whole concept was new. We really didn't have any data. We didn't really have any experience with them in service. Now that we do, and your feelings mirrored the J.D. Power research, which says, hey, these things have a much higher warranty burden, particularly in the first year of ownership. This shift reflects heightened industry concern about the complexities and challenges associated with EV service. So also very interesting. Our next data point, well, how long now does it take to process one claim, just one claim? And that's pretty fascinating. The time taken to process just a single claim has doubled from 11 minutes in 2020 to, worst case, almost 22 minutes in 2023.
Really? Wow.
If you look up there, Ted, you'll see that what we did is we said, all right, if we take all of the responses, it's almost doubled to 21.8%. But let's trim the bottom 5% and the top percent. They say a little over 16 minutes. Let's trim the bottom and top 10%. They still say 14 minutes, versus 11 minutes, which was what the dealers and service leaders said in 2020.
Sure.
So no matter how conservative or aggressive you want to be with it, it has increased significantly. Very interesting.
Yeah.
So how does that increase impact the cost of warranty processing on warranty revenue? And so we asked you that. Unaided, meaning we didn't give you any kind of a pointer or a pick a number. Unaided, dealers said that on average, it costs 7.8% of warranty revenue is consumed through the cost of processing it. This is a 28% increase from the 6.1% reported in 2020. So that is really significant, but the two tie together, right? If we think that the time it's taking is increased significantly, then of course the costs have gone up. What else has happened since 2020? Well, the cost of the people we pay to do warranty processing has gone up significantly.
Greatly.
So when you think of it like that, a 28% increase is really not that surprising, although it is troubling because, as an industry, we're in a place right now where we are looking to optimize expenses. And what we see is the cost of warranty processing going in the other direction.
Amazing.
So the next thing we ask, and I know that this is really sort of, this is an eyesore chart, but essentially what we said to dealers was, okay, you say that the cost of warranty processing today consumes 7.8% of warranty revenue. If you outsourced it, about what do you think it should cost? And remarkably, what this chart shows is that dealers say it would cost about 3% of revenue. So I'm doing it in-house today, and I figure that costs almost 8% of revenue. If I handed it to somebody else, I'd be willing to pay, or I think the sweet spot is 3%.
Right.
Which is a real, that is a huge difference in terms of percentage of cost. So that was a lot. Let's summarize. Warranty claims, and this is market research. This is not Jim saying this. We went out and we talked to dealers, general managers, and service leaders This is what you said. Warranty claims have significantly increased in the last 3 years. Warranty claims will significantly increase in the coming 3 years. Driven by EVs, they will be a significant factor in driving that higher. You also said that the average time it takes to process a warranty claim has increased significantly, somewhere between 26 and 95%. Warranty processing cost impact on revenue has increased 20 to 30% to 7.8%. And let's put that in a different term. Let's not talk about it as a percentage of revenue. What is it as a percentage of gross? Well, if your blended service and parts gross is 50%, then you double it. So it is consuming 12 to 16% of gross profit, which is a big bite. And then you also told us the sweet spot price for outsourcing warranty claims is about 3% of revenue, which is way more than half of the cost that you're paying now estimated here. So what does all of that mean? Well, number one, it means increasingly complex vehicles require more warranty work. Duh, no surprises there. It also means going forward into the future that we have a higher revenue opportunity from warranty, but more processing resources required as well as expertise. EVs will be a significant factor. This is due to more complexity and higher component costs. What does the average time having gone up so much mean? Well, it means warranty claims processing is becoming increasingly complex and difficult, and anyone who has looked at it knows that. They're saying, hey, no S Sherlock to me right now. What about the cost impact on revenue and gross? And I mean, you just have to say it as bluntly as you can. Claims processing cost is increasingly destroying profitability. The sweet spot price for outsourcing warranty claims is 3% of revenue, and that means that dealership leaders think warranty processing costs should be lowered by more than 50%, which keeps perfectly in mind with what we've just discussed. We see us struggling last year to try and achieve profitability. We know what happens when the variable side of the house struggles. You know, the dealer principal comes to fixed operations and says, you got to make it up. And you've got to find ways to optimize your expenses and to get every possible penny out of revenue, but also make every investment as much as possible. And I take all of this together, Ted, and what I say to the dealer and service leader audience is, you are reaching your own pivot point.
There it is. Yeah.
To pivot, you have to look around, recognize changing business conditions, and then decide on a new direction. And I think that you are here. Which brings me to WarrCloud. For those of us who don't know what and who WarrCloud is, we are the first and only technology company that automates OEM warranty claims processing. We are a group of auto industry veterans. Collectively, we have over 700 years of industry experience. Those who know me know previously Koch Automotive, X-Time, AutoPoint. We have people from Snap-on and other walks of automotive life. Our AI-driven software captures every allowance, every tenth of an hour, every time. And we have over 500 dealers we're working with, and we are growing strong. What did we do in this past year? Well, our impact was pretty significant. We passed a lot of milestones. We processed year-to-date through October 2023, 1.7 million claims for over $700 million in claim dollars. And I know because I just saw the numbers that we surpassed over $1 billion in claim values processed in 2023.
Wow. Great.
Our close to submit time across all brands and all of our dealers is 1.1 days.
Wow.
And our first time success rate is 94%.
Pretty good numbers there, Jim Roche.
Not bad. Not bad. I mean, if you're looking to reduce your costs and get a better bang for your buck, you could do worse. So when it is your time to pivot, consider the following. One, who else is bringing you this kind of information? I know that it's my baby, but I think based on what we've talked about today, I can say that WarrCloud is the thought leader in this space. WarrCloud is the warranty claims expert. And because we're the first and only that's using technology to do this, I believe that we are the future of warranty claims processing. What are our typical dealer results? Well, we increase warranty revenue by average of 12.4%, which works out to be about another $142,000 a year in revenue. We reduce your claims processing costs by more than 50%. We process claims within 24 hours, which of course improves cash flow. And we improve your OEM dashboard scores, metrics like first time success, time to submit, and time to close. So when your time comes to pivot, please give us a consideration. For those of you who may be at NADA, this gentleman, Kurt Warner, Super Bowl and NFL MVP, movie made about his life 2 years ago, American Underdog, and this year's NADA keynote speaker, Kurt Warner, will be in our booth Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And if you would like to meet him, get an autographed ball, or just come over to learn more about WarrCloud, please send me an email or come to our website, and I will get that scheduled for you. We would love to see you at NADA in Las Vegas. And that is the presentation, Ted. WarrCloud is your automatic warranty processing solution.
Everybody, Jim Roche, his email, his contact information is at the bottom of the ticker. He mentioned NADA. The booth number's there, 6119N. Okay. And Jim, that's going to be on what day? On Saturday, you said?
Saturday, February 3rd from 11 to 1 p.m. local time.
So that's the end of the week, everybody. So that's coming up. So if you're headed there, you're also going to want to meet Jim Roche in person, all right? And learn more about WarrCloud and what they can do for you as well. If for some reason if you're not going to NADA, Jim is on social media. Again, he is the thought leader, and WarrCloud is doing a tremendous job in this space. So, Jim, congratulations to you. I saw over 500 dealers you announced there. So great work.
Ted, you've been a great friend to us. I think the first time we did one of these, I remember right, we had 30 or 40 dealers. So thank you for helping us get to that milestone.
Well, proof of concept got worked out real early, Jim. So
happily.
Remember that? Remember those days? And now you're on to greener pastures. So everybody, reach out to Jim Roche at WarrCloud. Great friend of the fixed ops and retail community. And WarrCloud is making it happen. So, Jim, on behalf of the Roundtable, thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Ted. Thank you all.
Jim Roche from WarrCloud here today with us at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thank you, Ted Ings and the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Welcome to 2024 WarrCloud Jeopardy, Our Time is Money edition. Our contestants are previous champion, Corey Roberts, and we welcome a new contestant, Melinda Duprell. Let's look at the board. Our categories today, warranty volumes, out of time, man versus machine, and sports legends. Corey is the previous winner. You have the board.
I'll take warranty volumes for 100, Jim.
Warranty volumes for 100. The percentage of survey dealers who believe warranty volume will stay the same or increase. Yes, Corey.
What is 95%?
That's correct. In fact, 55% of dealers believe warranty will increase in the coming years. Back to the board. Melinda.
I'll take out of time for 200, please.
Out of time for 200. Since 2020, the increase in time spent to process a single warranty claim. Melinda.
What is jumped from 11.1 to 16.3 minutes?
That's exactly correct. Processing a single warranty claim has jumped from 11.1 minutes to over 16 minutes. Back to the board. Corey.
I'll take man versus machine for 300.
Man versus machine. With the majority of claims taking 24 to 48 hours to be submitted, this is the only solution that can reduce that time to mere seconds. Corey.
What is WarrCloud?
The winning answer is WarrCloud. Our final question, Melinda, choose a category.
I'll take sports legends for 400, Jim.
Sports legends for 400. This is the booth where you'll find two-time MVP and Super Bowl champion Kurt Warner at NADA 2024. Melinda.
What is WarrCloud at booth 6119N?
That's correct. The winning answer is WarrCloud. As a matter of fact, the winning answer is always WarrCloud. WarrCloud turbocharges your automotive warranty processing.
Hi, Fixed Ops Roundtable. We just released Harmony AI, our new 24/7 AI scheduler. Keep watching to preview.
This is Harmony, your digital assistant. I will be happy to schedule your service appointment today. Is this John?
Yes.
Would you like to book an appointment for your 2022 Accord?
Yes.
Now, please tell me what services you would like.
Oil change, tire rotation.
Would you like to drop off your vehicle, wait at the dealership, or would you need a ride?
Drop off.
Our first availability is today at 10:30 a.m., 11:30 a.m., and 12:30 p.m. Please select a time, say next, or say a date of your choice.
10:30 today.
Great. You are booked. Your confirmation is on the way. Our team looks forward to seeing you soon. Goodbye.
If you're interested in learning more, Update Promise will be at NADA at booth 1263 in the West Hall. So we'll see you there.
Learn all about credit card surcharging with the help of our next speaker, Julie Douglas from Dealer Pay.
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. We're here today with Dealer Pay and the princesses of payment processing. We're going to be talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly of credit card surcharging, a topic first time at the roundtable, long in coming. Julie Douglas is the president and sales lady extraordinaire at Dealer Pay, a great friend of the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Dealer Pay, by the way, is a certified partner of the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Molly, the director of dealer relations, is with us as well. First time on the roundtable. Julie and Molly, welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thanks, Ted. How are you?
I'm pretty good. We're here at the end of the month, guys. And, by the way, love the tiara, Julie, very much in the Knights of the Roundtable theme as well. So
thank you.
Sorry. So let's start off in simple terms. Julie, I'll come to you. What is credit card surcharging?
So credit card surcharging is simply the ability to add a percentage to the original sale amount to charge the customer for your credit card fees.
I went to a restaurant recently and signed off, left the tip, and I looked later at the receipt and I noticed there was a credit card surcharge. I had never seen that before. It's becoming more and more prevalent, I see, Julie.
Yes, it is. It's kind of been a topic that a lot of dealers are starting to entertain. But yeah, it's starting a lot in the restaurant hotel industry. You often see it with like concert tickets. You'll see like a processing fee. It's all the same concept, which is really fees to cover the costs of your credit card processing.
All right. Well, I've heard there are dealers who have been recovering those fees. But I'm sure, ladies, there are rules and regulations that are required for this program. So if you would, give us the geography on that and how that kind of works out.
Sure. So there definitely are rules, and it's really important that dealers follow them, whether they are told these rules by their provider or just know them themselves. It is extremely important because there are some penalties. First and foremost, it's not legal in the states of Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Puerto Rico. So currently, those state laws do not endorse surcharging at all. So for your dealers in those states, unfortunately, until that changes, this program would not benefit you. Another rule is you cannot surcharge on debit or prepaid cards. So surcharging primarily is for credit card processing only. So if you do not have this set up to be different, that is not compliant. Another rule here, number 3, would be that you have to display the appropriate signage in each of your departments. So if you are financing, or you are surcharging in finance, you are surcharging in fixed ops, you are surcharging in parts, wherever you're surcharging, you have to have a sign to let your customers know that you're using that program.
And I imagine there's correct verbiage to put on that as well.
Yes, that is correct. You also have to display the details on your receipt. So for example, if your sale transaction is $100 and you're surcharging 3%, you have to detail the $100, the 3%, and then the total being $103. So that is required for all receipts in addition to the signs. And the max for surcharging is different for card types. Visa has a max of 3%. MasterCard has a max of 4%. But the odd thing about those maximum percentages, you can't do one differently from the other. So I don't envision anyone saying we're not going to take Visa. So essentially your maximum surcharge amount is 3%.
Wow. Interesting. I'm taking a lot of notes here. I didn't realize that, nothing on debit cards, and there's a maximum then in terms of Visa and MasterCard. Okay.
Yep. And then lastly, credit card surcharging cannot be a profit center. So whichever percentage you decide to surcharge at, you cannot make money internally at your dealership or your place of business by offering this program.
Wow. Okay. All right. So ladies, credit card surcharging, something fairly new to the car industry. A lot of dealers have been asking about it and talking about it. Why is this appealing or perhaps not appealing to dealers?
Sure. So obviously it's going to cover their costs, right? So we're going to reduce the fees that are associated with payments processing, again, for credit cards only. And by doing that, it's going to increase profitability. But it also allows customers to choose other non-credit card payment options. So they can choose to use a debit card. They can choose to pay with cash or a check. But, credit card processing can be a costly service for dealers. Obviously, it's my line of work. I've been doing this for 25 years. So, there's definitely fees involved. Some are higher than lower. But this is a program that really can help dealers recoup these fees and increase profitability.
Julie, you and I have talked about in the past that most service repairs and maintenance are paid by the consumer, by the guest, with in most cases the majority, like 90% by credit card. This would become a lot of money that a dealer can recover.
Yes. I mean, I would say on average, prior to surcharging having the popularity over the last couple of years, most dealers were about 85% credit card and about 25 or 15% debit card. So there's definitely more credit card usage, and there's obvious reasons, right? They want the rewards, they want the miles, they want, maybe they don't have the money in their checking account, so they can't use a debit card or whatever, cash or check. So there's definitely advantages for customers using credit cards, but the cost to the dealerships can be substantial. Now, the reasons this would not want to be appealing to dealers is it does increase some of those other payment types. So if dealers don't have processes in place today to accept cash or to accept a higher volume of checks, that could create some, workflow issues or even accounting issues that they're not used to. We have seen dealers who've started surcharging pretty much across the board shift that percentage to where debit cards are quite a bit more than credit cards because consumers are wanting to not have to pay that fee.
Wow. And again, they have to disclose that with signage in each department where a customer would be paying that and make the customer aware.
That's correct.
Okay, with that disclosure. Okay, very interesting. Molly, coming to you. Okay. Molly, what are some examples of some initial impressions for both dealer as users and as the customer as well?
Well, mainly with both dealers, employees, and consumers, transparency is the key to that. They would have to, as a dealership, explain the pros and cons to their users and their customers. If they properly explain those pros and cons, then it would make it easier for both the users to explain that to the customer, and they'd be more relaxed and comfortable with letting the customer know about the surcharge. If they're trained on explaining the details to the customer, it's also much less of a shock and negative situation for everyone involved. It's also very important that the dealership correctly displays signage like you all were talking about, so the customer knows prior to the actually coming into the dealership and the point of sale. In most cases, after the initial change, that'll make it for a few days or weeks, and it'll be business as usual for the dealership.
Okay. All right. Any statistics, Molly, in terms of, what information you've gathered? Because you're working with a lot of dealers, and
Yes.
you would be the experts in the field.
Yes. So 85% of credit card holders have paid a surcharge without any issue. About 40% have used a debit card instead of using a credit card. 21% felt satisfaction with the business being dropped because of it. 39% did not know that processing companies even charge fees to the businesses. And 36% of dealer customers are surcharging today.
A question before I ask you about CSI and customer retention, which goes to some of the statistics you shared. And this is for both of you, ladies. When you install a dealership with Dealer Pay, and typically I've watched how you folks do it. I've seen the various posts on social media. You do a great job. You send your team in there, Julie. You are fully immersed in that dealership. I've talked to dealers on the Roundtable who've had Dealer Pay now come in and handle all this. Kudos to you. Great job. Julie, do you offer this at that time to dealers, or is it something they do as later down the road? How does that typically happen?
So I would say it's both. So for new dealers who are interested in looking at their payments and point of sale, that's one of the discovery questions we ask them right out of the gate. Do you have interest in surcharging? And it's one of three answers. It's either absolutely, let me figure out how I can cover all of my costs, right? Maybe not sure, tell me a little bit about it, concerned about CSI, things like that. And then I've got some dealers, absolutely not, I don't want anything to do with it. So it is kind of all over the place. The big thing is how do I implement a program like this to cover my costs without affecting CSI scores? And that's what Molly was kind of alluding to. It's all about transparency. It's kind of like, if you hid it from me and then all of a sudden I see it and I didn't know about it, I'm going to be probably a little bit more frustrated than if I know about it ahead of time and can make a different payment choice or discuss, how I feel about it to the dealer. But, we do a lot of training. We give them talk tracks. We tell them how to justify, what it looks like and what the costs are to the dealership. So, there's many opinions on the matter, which is why we're talking about it today.
So Molly, let me come back to you. How does this affect CSI and customer satisfaction, since this is potentially the last step of the dealership, before they leave?
Yes. This is a new business standard and the sale process is positive and the transaction is simple and easy, then it shouldn't have any effect on CSI. However, it's obviously different dealership to dealership in how they train their employees and inform their customers. As long as the customer is aware, like we were discussing, it shouldn't have any effect on the CSI scores.
Well, digging in a little bit deeper, ladies, are there differences by department? If they're collecting money, as we said, in the service department for repair and maintenance, that's one thing. What about in sales, in F&I, and even in parts? Or is it different?
Sure. So it is different. And what I found out along this process of rolling out different programs that we refer to surcharging as pay share at dealer pay. And in certain states, believe it or not, Ted, the Department of Revenues do not endorse surcharging in sales and finance. They have no problem with fixed ops, but something about sales and finance, surcharging is frowned upon. And other states, no big deal. And of course, the couple that are illegal. But there are also scenarios that happen where, for example, you have a service contract or warranty payment.
Okay.
Those amounts cannot be altered, right? So if it's $351.65, nothing can change of that amount. So there are some tools that are only available in a sophisticated point of sale that can differentiate by department. But it is also important to say it still has to be the same rate by department. So you can't say I'm going to surcharge 3% in sales, but only 1% in fixed ops. It's got to be the same for each one.
Across the board. That's fascinating. That's interesting. Yeah. I had no idea on that. And actually some good points knowing on the variable on the sales side. Yeah. Do all payment providers, Julie, offer surcharging, and do they operate under the same principles? I would imagine maybe no.
Yeah. So you are correct. So no, not all payments providers are ever created equally. We do have a lot of compliant competitors out there that are following the rules and advising their businesses to follow the rules and stay compliant. But then there's others that don't, and there's others that just don't have the technology to do it. One of the most important things is being able to determine if a card is a credit or debit card at the terminal level or within the approval process. Because if you can't, and you are in fact surcharging on a debit card, you could get in trouble. Also, if you're surcharging over the 3% amount. So a lot of companies who just offer a standalone solution, they may not be able to have some of the flexibility or options for dealers to be able to accommodate all their needs. So, even some of our DMS providers that do payments, they just haven't gotten up to the level where they can provide surcharging as a part of their services. I'm sure they will eventually, but it is one of the things that I feel like, is almost going to have to be a requirement as this program grows in popularity.
I'm looking at, my credit cards, and then it seems, ladies, that in the last maybe 18 months, 2 years, there's been some formatting changes to credit cards, and where the number used to be on the front, now it's on the back. Right. And I know as a consumer, might have a hard time looking at the card, knowing, Julie, if it's a debit or if it's an actual credit card.
Right. Well, obviously a debit card is going to be associated with your bank account, right? So there's no charge account associated with it, which means the risk and the fees are lower on it. So that's the good news, is even if dealers still have to pay their fees for debit cards, those fees are much less than credit cards. So if they can effectively pass 3% and cover their credit card fees and still pay the small percentage of their debit card fees, they're still going to be way better off in the long run, right? But again, dealer pay doesn't really care if a dealership wants to surcharge or not. We're kind of in it to provide the ultimate solution for them. It doesn't matter to us one way or the other. We just want to make sure we have the availability for them.
All right. Why is dealer pay, ladies, the best partner to the dealer for this job compared to the competition, whether they surcharge or whether the dealer doesn't?
I think we do a really great job, not just informing the dealership of the rules and regulations and making sure they stay compliant, but giving them scenarios where, they can still implement a program like this and keep their customers happy. It's one of those things where, it's all about the technology side of it for the function of it to happen, but it's also about the training and the in-person approach that Dealer Pay gives our dealers to say, hey, if you're going to implement surcharging, the first thing we want you to do is tell your employees, right? We don't want to be the ones that come in and say, hey, by the way, you're going to start this surcharge program, right? Tell your employees, make sure they understand why. And then our team is really going to focus on the areas that help them be efficient and productive. And this is just a component of it, right? So this is just one little thing of the whole picture. So I think we do a great job because we cover a lot of the spectrum with everything payment acceptance.
Okay. Interesting. I like it a whole lot. You make it easy, Julie. Easy not only for the dealer, but for the customer as well. And the big buzzwords right now in the automotive community are, make it frictionless, remove the pain points for everybody, and it'll be good for everyone all around. So I'm sure there's some good and bad and ugly. If you wouldn't mind, ladies, share with us, what is some of the good?
Obviously, if it's done properly, you can save most of your processing fees. And for the average dealer, this could be thousands of dollars every month, adding to the bottom line.
I know we got a lot of dealers listening in on that. So
yes, thousands. I mean, obviously that number depends on your dealership's payment processing volume as a whole. But when you figure that the average effective rate in a dealership ranges between 1.85 and maybe 2.35-ish. And again, that's kind of across the board too. There's some monies to be saved here, and that absolutely can help increase your profit margins.
All right. What's the bad, Julie?
The bad is not being transparent with your customers. I think we said this a few times. It's just, the consumers want to know what's going on. If you're going to implement a surcharge, make sure they know about it. Talk to them about it. Don't surprise them with it. That's the bad. I think there's a lot of customers that will potentially evaluate the business more negatively if they're surprised with a surcharge.
And the ugly?
The ugly is don't work with a payments provider that does not scream compliance to you. Don't break the rules. I think the last statistic that I saw was that fines can be up to $50,000 per instance. So if you surcharge a debit card or you're surcharging over the maximum amount and a consumer reports you, definitely going to have some fines associated with it. So don't get into the ugly space, follow the rules, work with a provider that is very educated on the matter and helps you be transparent with your customers to make it successful.
Molly and Julie, what I like about it is that Dealer Pay is a dealer-specific payment solution. You work with dealers, you know the dealer business. This is what you do. It's in your blood. Julie's done this a whole long time, and she became an overnight success in 15 to 20 years. Okay, but I tell you, the word is out on Dealer Pay. So first of all, end of the week, ladies, is a big event in Las Vegas. NADA. Will Dealer Pay be there?
We sure will. We've got, we're pulling out all the stops this year. We're doing something a little different where we've got some live presentations happening at the booth. We got a fun little surprise for Saturday afternoon. So hopefully people come by and see us at 1357W. Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a hoot.
All right. So if you want to meet Julie Douglas in person, everybody, sales lady extraordinaire, great friend of the Fixed Ops community and Roundtable. She'll be there at NADA in Las Vegas this weekend. Julie, whether a dealer is going or not, I imagine they could visit you at dealer-pay.com.
You bet. You can call me direct. You can text me, call Molly. We're all going to be here to answer the calls. We're very excited about, what this new year's bringing, and Dealer Pay's got a lot of good functionality ahead of us. So
we're in a great space in the automotive industry. I want to thank Molly and Julie from Dealer Pay for being with us today and for really altering the landscape of how payments are processed at dealerships. And Julie, you're bringing us into the modern age.
Yes, I love it. I love it, Ted.
All right, Julie Douglas, everybody, and Molly here today from Dealer Pay at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Hello, my name is Julie Douglas, President of Dealer Pay. For more than 20 years, we've been working exclusively with dealers to process electronic transactions. We've developed a dealer-specific payments and point-of-sale solution designed to help dealers be more profitable, productive, and successful. The reason our solutions have been proven effective is that we understand the dynamics of accepting payments in each department and can offer customized solutions that guarantees to exceed your expectations. Our point-of-sale solutions provide customers with multiple ways to pay. With a strong emphasis on both security and modern technology, we cover all aspects of the purchase and the last experience your customer has in the dealership. It's important to us that your customers are satisfied and your dealership is properly funded for every sales transaction. We are advocates for dealers and recommended in the industry. Let us help you get set up with a seamless transition. Contact me directly. Julie Douglas, Dealer Pay. Fast, organized, secure.
The Fixed Ops Roundtable Certified Program is designed to help preferred dealers and partners with powerful tools and resources.
Learn more at fixedopsroundtablecertified.com.